Chapter 48-47. Bang! Along with the sound of a violent collision, there was a loud sound. Thunder Dragon's body fell to the ground. But Thunder Dragon was not directly killed by the poison of the dragon-eating scorpion. Because Thunder Dragon's vitality was very strong. And his Thunder Dragon bloodline seemed to be able to suppress the poison. Therefore, although Thunder Dragon was poisoned, it did not die. But even if it did not die, Thunder Dragon's body still suffered a heavy blow. Thunder Dragon fell to the ground and twitched violently. Seeing this scene, Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. Perhaps it was an instinctive reaction, or perhaps it was because of the little dragon. Lin Feng's favorability towards Thunder Dragon far exceeded that towards the dragon-eating scorpion. And the dragon-eating scorpion was evil, vicious, and indeed not likable. Lei Long, on the other hand, wanted to avenge the deaths of the other dragons. Therefore, it was injured by the dragon-eating scorpion. So Lin Feng felt that Thunder Dragon was not bad. At this time, the dragon-eating scorpion let out a low hiss, which contained a dense killing intent. The dragon-eating scorpion jumped out and directly pounced towards Thunder Dragon on the ground. Now Thunder Dragon no longer had the strength to resist. If it was attacked by the dragon-eating scorpion, it would definitely die. Therefore, he planned to help Thunder Dragon. But at this time, a deep roar could be heard. A little purple dragon jumped out of the forest. That little purple dragon was only a meter tall. But it gave people a very special feeling. Soon, Lin Feng discovered the uniqueness of the little purple dragon. The little purple dragon had an unparalleled aura. That kind of aura was the aura of a superior. It seemed to be innate. Whoosh! The little purple dragon directly pounced towards the dragon-eating scorpion. What was surprising was, the little purple dragon was too fast. As fast as lightning. In the blink of an eye, it had already rushed to the front of the dragon-eating scorpion. Then it waved its claws and slapped towards the dragon-eating scorpion. Even a powerful creature like Thunder Dragon was injured by the dragon-eating scorpion. Therefore, when it saw the little purple dragon pouncing towards it, the dragon-eating scorpion had an extremely disdainful expression. It was no wonder. After all, the little purple dragon was too small. In the eyes of the dragon-eating scorpion, it was not even enough to fill the gaps between its teeth. The huge scorpion tail of the dragon-eating scorpion danced nimbly. When the little purple dragon came to the side of the dragon-eating scorpion, the stinger at the end of the scorpion's tail pierced towards the purple dragon's body. The poisonous spike was about to pierce the little purple dragon's body. But at this critical moment, Yi Zichen's eyes lit up. Surprisingly, the little purple dragon managed to dodge the poisonous stinger that was aimed at it. Then, the purple dragon opened its mouth and bit down on the tail. Crack! The scorpion's tail was bitten off by the purple dragon. Scorpions were extremely reliant on their tails. The tail was a vital part of the scorpion's body. In many critical moments, the scorpion tail could often deal a fatal blow to the enemy. If they lost their scorpion tails, the fighting strength of scorpions would be greatly reduced. Dragon-eating scorpions were just like that. After its scorpion tail was bitten off, the dragon-eating scorpion let out a painful roar. The little purple dragon landed directly on the back of the dragon-eating scorpion. The dragon-eating scorpion was extremely angry. Its body shook violently. It wanted to throw the little purple dragon away. But the little purple dragon stood very steadily. The little purple dragon leaped up. In the next moment, it landed on the head of the dragon-eating scorpion. At this moment, Lin Feng saw that the little purple dragon's claws were emitting a purple energy. It was an extremely mysterious purple energy. The little purple dragon slapped the dragon-eating scorpion's head with its claws. Crack! The dragon-eating scorpion's head shattered. The powerful purple energy also surged into the dragon-eating scorpion's head. Then, the dragon-eating scorpion's head exploded. The dragon-eating scorpion's huge body twitched a few times before it stopped moving completely. Holy shit! That little purple dragon is so powerful! After seeing this scene, Lin Feng and Long Outyen were both stunned. That thunder dragon was so powerful, but it was still no match for the dragon-eating scorpion. However, the little purple dragon's body was so small. Yet, his combat prowess was so terrifying. It was truly inconceivable. Long Aotian said. Something's not right. Something's not right with that little purple dragon. It should still be in its infancy stage, but it's already so powerful. How powerful would it be when it's in its adult stage? Lin Feng said. Could this little purple dragon be the son of the prehistoric dragon emperor? Hearing Lin Feng's words, Long Aotian could not help but mutter. That was because the little purple dragon was too extraordinary. Perhaps it was really possible. At this moment, the little purple dragon took out a crystal from the dragon-eating scorpion's body. It's the dragon-eating scorpion's energy crystal, Lin Feng said. Long Aotian's eyes were burning with desire. How powerful would the energy crystal of a powerful creature like the dragon-eating scorpion be? Long Aotian rubbed his hands together, wanting to snatch the dragon-eating scorpion's energy crystal. However, he was stopped by Lin Feng. Because the little dragon was too extraordinary, Lin Feng did not want to provoke it. The little dragon grabbed the dragon-eating scorpion's energy crystal and came to the front of Thunder Dragon. Purple energy surged out of the little dragon's body and wrapped around the energy crystal. Next, the energy crystal turned into the purest form of energy and poured into Lei Long's body. The poison in Thunder Dragon's body was quickly dissipated. Thunder Dragon's injuries were also quickly recovering. Not long after, Thunder Dragon was fully recovered. Moreover, Thunder Dragon's aura. It was much stronger than before. Obviously, after absorbing the majestic energy contained in the energy crystal, Thunder Dragon's combat power had increased greatly. Thunder Dragon got up from the ground. Then, it knelt in front of the little purple dragon and lowered its noble head. The little purple dragon stretched out its claws. It gently stroked Thunder Dragon's head. Then, the little purple dragon turned and left. In the blink of an eye, it had disappeared into the forest. Thunder Dragon did not stay and quickly left. Let's go and follow it. Let's see how extraordinary that little purple dragon is. If it's really the son of the prehistoric dragon emperor, we'll think of a way to capture it, Long Aotian said. Lin Feng said speechlessly. You're a dragon after all. Don't you feel guilty about capturing the little purple dragon? Long Aotian said. I just want to give this guy some pointers. What are you thinking? Don't misunderstand my good intentions. Lin Feng curled his lips. He naturally did not believe Long Aotian's nonsense, but Lin Feng really wanted to see if the little purple dragon was the son of the prehistoric dragon emperor. Thus, Chapter 48-48. The little purple dragon's speed was extremely fast. However, Lin Feng and the rest were not slow either. In fact, Lin Feng and the rest thought that they could hide from the little purple dragon. However, it did not take long for Lin Feng, Long Aotian, and the little dragon to be discovered by the little purple dragon. The little purple dragon looked at Lin Feng, Long Aotian, and the little dragon with vigilance. When it saw the little dragon standing on Lin Feng's shoulder, the little purple dragon revealed an extremely surprised expression. Then the little purple dragon let out a series of cries. This was a cry that Lin Feng could not understand. It seemed to be conveying some message to the little dragon standing on Lin Feng's shoulder. What is that little purple dragon saying? Lin Feng looked at Long Aotian and asked. Long Aotian said, That fellow told the little dragon that as a great dragon, how can it live with other races? Therefore, it is bewitching the little dragon on your shoulder, wanting it to leave with it. F***ck, this is too much. Lin Feng could not help but say gloomily. At this moment, the little dragon on Lin Feng's shoulder bared its fangs and brandished its claws at the little purple dragon. Although Lin Feng could understand a part of the dragon's language, however, Lin Feng did not understand the dragon's language that the little dragon was speaking. After all, there were many dragons' languages. Lin Feng looked at Long Aotian and asked, What did the little dragon say? Long Aotian said, This little fellow said that you are its family. Hearing Long Aotian's words, Lin Feng finally felt a little relieved in his heart. He did not dote on the little dragon for nothing. Lin Feng reached out his hand and patted the little dragon's head. The little dragon rubbed against Lin Feng's palm in enjoyment. Long Outyan said, "Since the little purple dragon has discovered us, we might as well use some forceful methods. I think we should forget about it. Let's hurry up and leave this place." "There's no need to provoke the little purple dragon," Lin Feng said. He did not plan to offend the little purple dragon because Lin Feng felt that the little purple dragon was extraordinary. On Dragon Island, perhaps he had a unique identity. If that was the case, provoking the little purple dragon would not end well. However, Long Outyan did not listen to Lin Feng. He flew towards the little purple dragon. Roar! The little purple dragon let out a series of high-pitched dragon roars. When the little purple dragon finished speaking, next, one after another, gigantic prehistoric dragons appeared. Then, the prehistoric dragons looked at Long Outyan with murderous eyes. Even Lin Feng was hated. Perhaps the little dragon was the only one who was not hated by those prehistoric dragons. Those prehistoric dragons were probably still trying to instigate the little dragons. "Oh my God! Hurry up and run!" Long Outyan wailed loudly. Long Outyan was scared out of his wits the moment he saw the group of prehistoric dragons. As such, without hesitation, Long Outyan turned around and fled. Lin Feng did not dare to stay here either. There were more than a dozen dragons of all kinds. The aura of some of the dragons was even comparable to the prehistoric Tyrannosaurus Rex that he had encountered earlier. There were also a few powerful pterosaurs circling in the sky. When Lin Feng and Long Outyan fled, those prehistoric dragons attacked Lin Feng and Long Outyan one after another. One by one, huge dragon claws slapped towards Lin Feng and Long Outyan. Lin Feng and Long Outyan tried their best to avoid the other party's attacks. However, they were still unable to completely avoid the attacks of those dragons. The two of them were still sent flying by those dragons. Lin Feng immediately felt his blood boil. He almost spat out a mouthful of blood. F***ck. Aren't these prehistoric dragons too abnormal? Lin Feng even had the heart to cry. However, the situation in front of him really made him very depressed. At this time, a group of dragons pounced towards Lin Feng and Long Outyan respectively. "We're going to die. We're going to die. This time, we're really going to die. We've kicked an iron plate," Long Outyan screamed. Lin Feng's expression was also extremely ugly. Even if the prehistoric dragons were powerful, they shouldn't be powerful to this extent. Escaping from the encirclement of these prehistoric dragons seemed to be an extremely difficult task. Roar! At this time, Xiaolong suddenly let out a loud dragon roar. When Xiaolong's voice came out, the gigantic prehistoric dragons were all intimidated by the power of the dragon. All the prehistoric dragons were stunned on the spot. F***ck, isn't this the Dragon Emperor's deterrence? Rumor has it that this is one of the top divine abilities of the dragon race. This little fellow is awesome, Long Outyan exclaimed. Then he shouted, "Hurry up and leave. When those prehistoric dragons come back to their senses, we might not be able to escape." Lin Feng quickly nodded and rushed out with Long Outyan. He did not dare to stay here any longer. Xiaolong, on the other hand, grabbed onto Lin Feng's clothes tightly. Soon, Lin Feng and Long Outyan rushed out of the encirclement of the prehistoric dragons. Roar, roar, roar. At this time, the group of prehistoric dragons came back to their senses and roared furiously. Those prehistoric dragons were extremely powerful. They were actually intimidated by a little dragon. To a group of prehistoric dragons, this was simply a great humiliation. Previously, those prehistoric dragons were still thinking of recruiting Xiaolong. But now, they only wanted to tear Xiaolong to shreds. A group of prehistoric dragons quickly chased after Lin Feng and Long Outyan. Lin Feng's speed was naturally very fast, but Long Outyan's speed was much slower. Lin Feng stepped on the 8-directional world and then grabbed Long Outyan's collar and flew forward quickly. Long Outyan shouted unhappily, "Can you F***king grab somewhere else? You're ruining my image, you know?" Lin Feng said. You're such a busybody. If you don't want to be caught by me, I'll throw you here to feed the prehistoric dragons. Don't, please don't. I was just talking nonsense. Please don't take it to heart, Long Outyen quickly said with a smile. In the end, Lin Feng and Long Outyen escaped from the group of prehistoric dragons. They stopped to rest in front of a pool. Lin Feng said, Those guys don't seem to be ordinary prehistoric dragons. Although ordinary prehistoric dragons are very powerful, they definitely can't be as powerful as them, Long Outyen said. It's the Dragon King. Those are the level of existence. They're all powerful beings of the Dragon King level. F***CK. I was wondering why those prehistoric dragons were so powerful, Lin Feng could not help but say. After resting for a while, Lin Feng and Long Outyen continued their journey. Xiaolong led the way in front. Sob, sob, sob. Not long after, Xiaolong actually cried. Chapter 48-49. Xiaolong had been in a good mood before, but in the blink of an eye, it started crying. Lin Feng couldn't help but worry. What's wrong with this little guy? Why are you crying all the time? Long Outyen asked, confused. Lin Feng kicked Long Outyen. Then, he said speechlessly, What nonsense are you talking about? Lin Feng then looked at Xiaolong and asked, Little guy, what happened? While crying, the little dragon waved its little claws and danced about, trying to express something. Said Lin Feng. What you're saying is that it seems like something is causing you to feel sad. Although you don't know what it is, you can't control your tears? Xiaolong quickly nodded. Lin Feng rubbed Xiaolong's head and said, Little guy, don't be afraid. No matter what happens, I'll always be by your side. Xiaolong rubbed its head against Lin Feng's palm. It continued to lead the way, while Lin Feng and Long Outyen followed behind it. Lin Feng and Long Outyen could feel Xiaolong's sadness. Although Long Outyen had a big mouth, he knew that he should speak less to avoid agitating Xiaolong. Therefore, Long Outyen didn't say anything. Lin Feng's mood was heavier. Xiaolong was crying very sadly. It was as if his heart was being torn apart. Lin Feng was worried that Xiaolong would be too sad when it saw the thing it was talking about. However, Lin Feng couldn't stop Xiaolong from seeing that thing. They walked deeper into the forest and encountered some powerful beasts or prehistoric dragons. Lin Feng and Long Outyen didn't avoid them. Xiaolong wanted to go deeper into the forest. Therefore, Lin Feng took out the two evil god statues. With the help of the two evil god statues, he and Long Outyen were able to kill anyone who stood in their way. No matter who stood in their way, only death awaited them. In the end, Lin Feng and the others arrived outside a pitch-black mountain forest. This pitch-black forest was surrounded by a terrifying power of death. In the outer area of the forest, there was a large pile of bones. There were skeletons of ferocious beasts as well as skeletons of prehistoric dragons. After seeing those skeletons, Lin Feng could not help frowning. In this dark mountain forest, it was absolutely terrifying. Xiaolong sobbed as he flew forward. Lin Feng and Long Outyen accompanied Xiaolong into the forest. In the forest there were also piles of bones of ferocious beasts and prehistoric dragons. Long Outyen said, This place is surrounded by the death energy. It's extremely strange. I think it must be extremely dangerous. We have to be extra careful. If we encounter any danger later, we'll retreat immediately. Long Outyen could not be blamed for being so cautious. The situation in front of him was extremely dangerous. If it weren't for their strength, they wouldn't have been able to withstand the power of death here. Cultivators with slightly weaker cultivations. Their lifespan would be devoured by the power of death in an extremely short period of time. Of course, the scariest thing was not the power of death in the dark mountain forest. Instead, it was an unknown power or an extremely strange feeling. When Lin Feng entered, he felt as if he was being watched by something. In the dark, there seemed to be a pair of eyes watching their every move. It was an extremely strange feeling, but it felt so real. It was so strong. Therefore, Lin Feng had been vigilant of the surrounding situation, as Lin Feng and the others were now deeper into the Dragon Island. Therefore, the suppression of divine thought and Dharma power here was much more serious than outside. Lin Feng's divine thought was severely restricted and his perception was greatly weakened. As for Lin Feng's Dharma power, it was also greatly suppressed. Therefore, Lin Feng's combat power was greatly weakened. It was because of these reasons that they had to be more careful. If there was really danger and they were careless, they might die here. Lin Feng and the others went deep into the dark mountain forest and did not encounter any danger. Other than a large number of skeletons, they did not see anything. There was also no danger. Lin Feng could not help but mutter. Could it be that he was thinking too much? An abyss appeared in the depths of the dark mountain forest. Black fog was emitted from the abyss. The abyss was extremely eerie and terrifying because it was covered by the rolling black fog. Therefore, there was no way to see what was in the abyss. Xiaolong flew towards the abyss. Lin Feng and Long Outian also hurriedly followed. Their speed was very fast. Not long after, they entered the abyss. Xiaolong chose a direction and flew towards the bottom of the abyss. Finally, they came to the end of the abyss. When they came to that position, Lin Feng suddenly showed an extremely shocked expression. The reason for that was because there was a dragon skeleton there. It was a dragon skeleton that was not particularly big, only about 100 meters long. When Xiaolong saw the dragon skeleton, it immediately let out a heart-wrenching cry. Xiaolong flew towards the dragon skeleton. When it came to the dragon skeleton, it directly pounced on the dragon skeleton. Could it be Xiaolong's relative? Lin Feng could not help but mutter. Xiaolong was very mysterious. Until now, Lin Feng did not know which dragon clan Xiaolong was from. Even Long Outian, the Eastern Dragon God, did not know which dragon clan Xiaolong was from. From this, one could tell how shocking Xiaolong's origin was. Now, Xiaolong seemed to have found its relative. However, its relative had been dead for God knows how many years. Long Outian said, "How could this little guy's relative die on Dragon Island? This Dragon Island has been sealed for countless years. Could it be that this little guy was sealed at that time?" It was sealed in prehistoric times and only broke out of the seal not long ago. This kind of sealing method is too powerful. Lin Feng could not help but nod. It was indeed as Long Outian said. Xiaolong was so young, but it was already so extraordinary. One could imagine how terrifying Xiaolong's elders were. If that's the case, Xiaolong is also from the prehistoric dragon clan? Lin Feng could not help but ask. Long Outian nodded and said, "It is indeed possible. However, it is difficult to determine which dragon clan this little guy belongs to. After all, our understanding of the prehistoric dragon clan is limited." Yes. Lin Feng could not help but sigh. At that moment, Lin Feng suddenly felt a cold aura surging towards them. He looked outside. Immediately he saw. Chapter 4850. Lin Feng could not help but frown when he saw the black fog that was rushing towards them. It seemed like danger was about to appear. F***CK! What's coming? Long Outian could not help but exclaim. At this very moment, Long Outian's expression was extremely solemn. He could clearly sense that the other party was not to be trifled with. Lin Feng was the same as Long Outian. He could not help but feel a sense of solemnity in his heart. He came to Xiaolong's side and hugged him. Xiaolong grabbed onto Lin Feng's clothes. Then, he kept sobbing. The dead dragon tribe living beings should be Xiaolong's kin. However, what was the exact relationship between that being and Xiaolong? Xiaolong's father? Mother? Or brother or sister? Or other kin? All of these were possibilities. He he he. A sinister laughter could be heard from the rolling black fog. When he heard that sinister laughter, Long Outian shouted, "Which scoundrel is hiding in the black fog? Show yourself if you have the guts! You're courting death!" The living being in the black fog said coldly. Then, a huge palm stretched out from the black fog. It was a palm that was formed by the black fog. The palm that was formed by the black fog slammed towards Long Outyen. This infuriated Long Outyen greatly. Because to Long Outyen, the other party was looking down on him. Long Outyen used the sacred dragon fist to attack the black fog palm formed by the other party. Bam! Following that, an extremely violent collision sound could be heard. The attacks from both parties collided fiercely. Long Outyen was sent flying by the other party's palm. How is this possible? Long Outyen yelled out in disbelief. No matter what, he was still a true immortal right now. Even if he was only at the first level of a true immortal, he was still a true immortal. Transcendence into immortality. Yet he could not withstand the other party's casual attack. This difference was naturally huge. It was no wonder that Long Outyen could not believe everything that had happened. No matter who it was, it would be hard for them to accept it. Who are you? Lin Feng asked with a gloomy face. I am a person who hates all living things in this world. The existence within the black fog said coldly. At this moment, the black fog began to quickly recede. It didn't take long for the existence within the black fog to appear. This being was about 3 meters tall, and had a pair of wings on its back. Its body was covered in golden scales. However, this existence's body had long since rotted away. His body was emitting a foul stench and a strong aura of death. The body of this existence. He had long lost all signs of life. However, his soul did not seem to have died. His soul could still control this rotten body. This was the first time Lin Feng had seen such a creature, so he didn't recognize it. Golden Feather Race Beings! At this moment, Long Outyen said. He could not help but look extremely shocked. Is this clan very powerful? Lin Feng had never heard of the Golden Feather Race, and could not help but ask curiously. Long Outyen said solemnly. Of course they are powerful because they are the lost race of the epoch. Upon hearing that, Lin Feng could not help but look extremely shocked. It was actually the lost race of the epoch, a race that had transcended epochs. It was no wonder Long Outyen's voice was so solemn when he talked about this race. This race was very active among the lost races of the epoch in the early days of the epoch. In the prehistoric era, they participated in the battle against the prehistoric dragon race. Because of that battle, this race suffered heavy losses. Later on, they gradually disappeared without a trace. No one knows if they were wiped out or not, Long Outyen said. You know quite a lot. The Golden Feather Race cultivator looked coldly at Long Outyen. Long Outyen said proudly. Of course, I know a lot of secrets. However, you will soon bring these secrets to the underworld. The Golden Feather Race cultivator said sinisterly. Lin Feng sneered. You're just a rotten corpse. Do you think you can kill us? I can feel the power of a curse from your body. Furthermore, your corpse is already dead and rotten, but your soul is still able to control your body. Logically speaking, after your body dies, your soul should have left your body and dissipated. However, that is not the case for you. Therefore, I conclude that you must have been cursed. The other party sealed your soul in this rotten body of yours. Facing this rotting body every day must be an extremely painful torture for you, right? Most of the time, death is not the most terrifying thing. The most terrifying thing is actually enduring this endless torment. Moreover, there is no end to it. You will have to endure this torment for all eternity, and right now, you are experiencing all of this. Shut up, the Golden Feather Race cultivator said angrily. Clearly, Lin Feng had hit his sore spot. Therefore, this exposed the weakest part of the Golden Feather Race cultivator's heart, something that he was most unwilling to face. The Golden Feather Race cultivator. That was why he was so hysterical and filled with killing intent. Since it has already happened, you still don't dare to face it? Looks like you've been tortured by the power of the curse all these years, Lin Feng said with a smile. The Golden Feather Race cultivator said angrily. Yes, I was tortured by the power of the curse until I wished I was dead. I wanted to commit suicide and destroy my soul, but I couldn't do it. However, as time passed, I gave up on suicide. In fact, I even like the feeling of being tortured. If there comes a day when the power of the curse stops tormenting me, I won't be able to get used to it. F***ck, how perverted! Long Outian cried out. The Golden Feather Race cultivator said, The corpse behind you is him. Before he died, he cursed me. What's up with that little dragon in your arms? Could it be a descendant of the dead dragon race? Or could it be? When he said this, the Golden Feather Race cultivator's eyes lit up. He seemed to have thought of something. Then he laughed loudly. I've searched high and low for it, only to find it by sheer luck. I've found it, I've finally found it. The Golden Feather Race cultivator shouted excitedly. Perhaps it was because he was too excited, but his body was trembling violently. I've found a way to remove the curse on my body. The bloodline of this little dragon will definitely help me remove the curse on my body. The Golden Feather Race cultivator shouted excitedly. And all of you will die. The Golden Feather Race cultivator let out an eerie cry. Next. Chapter 48:51. Let's join forces and get rid of him, Lin Feng said. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng waved his hand. In an instant, 2 evil god stone statues appeared in Lin Feng's hand. Following that, Lin Feng, Long Outian, and the 2 evil god stone statues surrounded the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator. F***ck you to death, you bastard! Long Outian yelled. Long Outian was still fuming after being forced to retreat by the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator. Now, he wanted nothing more than to chop the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator into pieces. Long Outian conjured the shadow of an ancestral dragon. The ancestral dragon shadow charged straight at the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator. It seemed that Long Outian had obtained part of the ancestral dragon's inheritance. Otherwise, he would not have been able to conjure the ancestral dragon shadow. The ancestral dragon shadow was extremely powerful. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. Its dragon might shook the heavens. It quickly arrived in front of the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator. Then, it swung its huge dragon claws at the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator. Lin Feng summoned the 5 stone swords. The 36 stone swords were the most effective against beings that had transcended epochs. Of course, to be more precise, the being in front of them. There was still a big difference between him and other beings that had transcended epochs. The main reason was that his physical body had already died. Only his soul was left sealed in his decaying body. Therefore, Lin Feng estimated that the suppression of the 5 stone swords on this being would be much weaker. However, so what if it was much weaker? They could still suppress the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator. The 2 evil god stone statues swung their stone swords at the Golden Feather Tribe cultivator. Today, I'll let you have a taste of my power! The Golden Feather Tribe cultivator could not help but sneer in the face of everyone's attacks. 10,000 faces technique! The Golden Feather Tribe cultivator roared. Following that, a huge lawful embodiment of heaven and earth appeared behind him. Then, something shocking happened. When the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth appeared, terrifying beams of light shot out from its eyes. The beams of light shot toward Lin Feng and the others. Bang, bang, bang! Along with the sound of an incomparably violent collision. Lin Feng and the others' attacks were actually all neutralized by the other party. That lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was simply too terrifying. My 10,000 elephant strength technique has a total of 9 levels. Once I reach the 9th level, I will be able to manifest a myriad of phenomena. However, ever since I was cursed, my cultivation has dropped drastically. Thus, I am unable to conjure a myriad of laws and phenomena. However, even if I can only conjure a single law embodiment of heaven and earth, it won't be a problem to deal with you people. The Golden Feather Race cultivator sneered. He was extremely confident in his combat strength. The eyes of the law embodiment of heaven and earth continued to shoot out terrifying beams of light. The terrifying beams of light shot towards Lin Feng, Long Outian, and the 2 evil god statues. Lin Feng, Long Outian, the 2 evil god statues were suppressed. He blocked the opponent's attack rather pathetically. If this continued, it would be extremely disadvantageous for Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng and Long Outyen were also very clear about this point. Fortunately, they still had the two evil god statues to share the pressure. Otherwise, the situation would be even worse. The golden feather race cultivator in front of them was simply too terrifying. In the past, this fellow was definitely one of the top experts of the golden feather race. One could imagine how terrifying and powerful the top experts of a race that had transcended eras were. Just thinking about it made one's heart tremble with fear. Fortunately, this fellow's combat strength had already declined greatly compared to his peak. Otherwise, it would be even more difficult to deal with this terrifying existence. The situation is not good. We have to break out of this encirclement quickly, Long Outyen said with a gloomy expression. Lin Feng nodded. He thought so too. There did not seem to be any benefits to continuing to fight with the golden feather race cultivator. Since that was the case, they might as well leave quickly. However, the golden feather race cultivator had completely stalled Lin Feng and the others, preventing them from escaping. This was the most troublesome thing. Therefore, Lin Feng's expression was extremely ugly. As the battle progressed, the situation became more and more unfavorable for Lin Feng and the others. At this moment, the little dragon suddenly cried out. Lin Feng felt waves of energy fluctuations behind him. He turned to look behind him. He immediately saw the skeleton at the back was actually regenerating its flesh and blood. What's going on? After seeing this, Lin Feng was a little surprised. However, Lin Feng immediately rejoiced. If that existence's flesh was regenerating, they might be able to completely turn the tide of this battle. You actually still have such a trump card. The golden feather race cultivator's expression changed drastically after seeing this. The golden feather race cultivator abandoned Lin Feng and pounced on the dragon skeleton that was regenerating. He wanted to stop the dragon clan skeleton from regenerating. However, it was too late. The humorous dragon regenerated flesh and blood and slapped at the golden feather race cultivator with its claws. Terrifying beams of light shot out from the eyes of the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. Those beams of light were all aimed at the dragon race being. However, when those beams of light shone on the dragon creature's body, many mysterious runes appeared on the dragon creature's body. Those runes directly blocked the opponent's attack. Then, the dragon creature slapped the golden feather race cultivator's body with its claws. Bang! Following a violent collision, the golden feather race cultivator was sent flying by the dragon creature's claws. Even the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was shattered. Half of the golden feather race cultivator's body exploded. The attack just now had severely injured the golden feather race cultivator. How could this be? How could this be? The golden feather race cultivator roared furiously. He could not accept the situation in front of him. The dragon creature said, I used a curse technique to curse you so that you would suffer endless pain and torture before the young master arrived. Over the years, have you been tortured to the point of insanity? However, you won't have to suffer this pain very soon because I will destroy your soul later and take away your memories. Many of your memories will be very useful to the young master. I'm going to kill you! The golden feather race cultivator roared with hatred. He quickly pounced on the dragon creature. The dragon creature slapped out with its claws again, and the golden feather race cultivator was sent flying again. This time, his body exploded completely, leaving only his head floating in midair. Seeing the golden feather race cultivator in such a miserable state, Lin Feng and Long Outyen did not have any sympathy for him at all. This fellow was a remnant of the epic lost race. Who knew how many innocent people he had killed back then? No matter what happened to him, it would be satisfying. No one would sympathize with this heinous remnant of the epic lost race cultivator. These people. Chapter 48-52. When Long Outyen saw that the golden feather cultivator was in such a miserable state, he immediately laughed. Suddenly he laughed as if he was taking pleasure in someone else's misfortune. He said, Weren't you very pretentious before? Why are you so scared now? When you were alive, you were tricked. After you died, you turned into a rotten corpse and were still tricked? As the top-notch expert of the lost races of this era, it's really tragic for you to end up like this. What did you say? The golden feather cultivator's head roared angrily. Even though he was left with only his head, his dignity was still very high. He would not allow anyone to challenge his dignity. However, Long Outyen was challenging his dignity. Long Outyen continued to mock him. I said you're an idiot. You're a piece of trash. Don't you understand human language? The golden feather cultivator's head was burning with rage. Back in the day, he had been a lofty figure. Even the sentient lifeforms born in this era would take a detour when they saw him. However, he was now being looked down upon to such an extent. This infuriated the golden feather cultivator. These cultivators had once been powerful, but due to various reasons, their cultivation had declined. They were the most concerned about dignity, face, and so on. They had once had it. Now they had lost it. That was why they yearned to be recognized and respected by others. However, what Long Outyen had done, he was trampling on the other party's dignity. How could the other party accept this? Even though he was left with only his head, the golden feather cultivator's head still flew toward Long Outyen. He opened his mouth. He wanted to bite Long Outyen. Long Outyen seemed to have driven him crazy. However, the huge dragon did not give the golden feather cultivator the chance to do so. The huge dragon sealed the golden feather cultivator's head. Then, the dragon claw lightly tapped the golden feather cultivator's head. A mysterious power surged out and enveloped the golden feather cultivator's head. Soon, the head was completely refined into a pile of ashes. In the end, only the golden feather cultivator's soul was left. Don't refine my soul to death. I can't die. I want to reverse fate. I want to reincarnate. The golden feather cultivator's soul begged. When he had first been cursed, he had wanted to die more than once. However, now that he was truly facing death, he was afraid. Alive. Perhaps there would be a chance for him to reincarnate, but if he died, there would be no chance at all. The dragon sneered. He didn't even bother with the golden feather cultivator's pleas for mercy. Very soon, the golden feather race cultivator's soul was refined to death. In the end, the memories of the golden feather cultivator's soul were extracted from the soul origin of the golden feather cultivator. Those soul memories turned into runes. The dragon looked at Xiaolong and said, Young master, there's not much I can do for you. Please, young master, remember these memories. As the dragon creature spoke, it wanted to imprint those memories into the little dragon's mind. But at this moment, Lin Feng said, Wait. The dragon looked at Lin Feng and asked, Why are you stopping me? Lin Feng said, Xiaolong is still young, and the soul memories in your hands must contain endless memories of slaughter. It might even contain the scenes of Xiaolong's ancestors and relatives being massacred. If you give these memories to Xiaolong, won't it be too stimulating? Perhaps you can erase those bad memories and only leave behind some good memories and legacy. Wouldn't that be better for Xiaolong? The dragon creature said. The apocalypse is coming. How can there be so much time left to waste? Young master needs to grow. Although young master is still young. But the young master's race is an unparalleled race. Young master must accept all of this. This way, young master will know what happened back then and remember the hatred. This will spur young master to continue growing, allowing him to grow quickly in the apocalypse. He will be able to stand on his own. Only then will he have a chance to survive the destruction of this era. Therefore, the things that are truly helpful to young master are actually those memories that seem extremely cruel. Those good memories, those mystical arts and Tao teachings, they are of no use to young master. Young master doesn't need the legacy of other legacy. After hearing the dragon creature's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Although he didn't want to admit it, he had to admit that the dragon creature's words made a lot of sense. In the end, Lin Feng nodded and no longer stopped the dragon creature from transferring the memories of the golden feather race cultivators into Xiaolong's mind. Soon, the memories were transferred into Xiaolong's mind. Perhaps it was because there were too many memories in his mind at once. Xiaolong immediately fell asleep. Don't you intend to tell Xiaolong some of the things you know? Lin Feng asked the dragon creature. My memories have long scattered with the wind. Now, all I have left is my last obsession, so I can't give my memories to the young master. Now, seeing that the young master is healthy, I'm very happy. I hope you can take good care of the young master. I will, Lin Feng said. As a reward, I'll impart to you a great dragon mystique. Because you're a human cultivator, you may not be able to use this great dragon mystique to its peak. However, as long as you cultivate it well, the power of this great dragon mystique will still be unimaginably powerful, the dragon creature said. Lin Feng was overjoyed when he heard that. He was indeed quite interested in the great dragon mystique. The dragon creature reached out a claw and gently tapped Lin Feng's forehead. A ray of divine light entered Lin Feng's mind. Following that, Lin Feng realized that there was an additional message in his mind. Great dragon mystique, dragon emperor's roar! Rumor has it that the dragon clan's most powerful sound wave mystique is the most violent sound wave mystique. After successfully cultivating it, one can release the dragon emperor's roar. Any cultivator who hears the dragon emperor's roar will be affected. Those with weak cultivation will die from the shock. Even if one's cultivation is far stronger than the user, if one is attacked by the dragon emperor's roar without any preparation, one will be stunned for at least 3 seconds. Oh my God! When Lin Feng sensed the introduction of this great dragon mystique, his face immediately revealed an extremely shocked expression. The dragon emperor's roar was too powerful. Putting its attack power aside for now. This was because Lin Feng had mastered several powerful attacks. Therefore, it was difficult for Lin Feng to be interested in a soul attack mystique alone. However, the dragon emperor's roar was different. This was because the dragon emperor's roar came with a heaven-defying technique. That was dizziness. Moreover, the additional stun effect could also have a huge impact on those who were far stronger than him. Even if it was just for a second, it could reverse the final outcome of this battle. Moreover, the dragon emperor's roar could stun for at least 3 seconds. In other words, it was possible to stun for even longer. Chapter 48-53. He had obtained the dragon emperor's roar. Lin Feng's mood instantly became extremely good. He had to master this dragon clan's great divine ability as soon as possible. When the time came, it would definitely be of great use. Senior, thank you for the divine ability. Lin Feng cupped his fists in gratitude. You deserve it, the dragon clan being said. Where's mine? Where's my divine ability? I'm taking care of this dragon brat like he's my own child. Long Naotian hurriedly said. This fellow was truly shameless. Even if he was lying through his teeth, his face would not turn red. Of course, Lin Feng did not expose Long Naotian's true colors. If Long Naotian could benefit from it, and increase his cultivation by a large margin, Lin Feng was naturally happy for Long Naotian. Later, after my obsession dissipates, you can take my Saint Bone away. When the time comes, you can refine it into your body. It should be of great help to your cultivation, the dragon clan being said. Saint Bone? Holy sh*T! You're my ancestor! Long Naotian immediately jumped up and down in joy. He really looked like an idiot. Lin Feng was speechless. Lin Feng looked at the dragon clan being and asked, Senior, can you tell this junior what race Xiaolong is? The dragon clan being could not help but frown slightly. It seemed to be hesitating whether or not to tell him. It seemed like it had some reservations in its heart. Lin Feng asked, Xiaolong, could he be the dragon emperor's son? Why do you ask? The dragon clan being asked as it looked at Lin Feng in surprise. Lin Feng said, I've heard some things about the dragon emperor. It's said that before the calamity descended, the dragon emperor ordered his subordinates to bring his son away. However, I believe that some living beings would go after the dragon emperor's son. Later on, I heard that the Dragon Emperor's son might very well be on this island. Senior, for your corpse to appear here, you must have been hunted down by those lost epics, right? Moreover, Xiaolong was once close to Senior, yet Senior addressed Xiaolong as young lord. My guess is that Senior must have stayed with Xiaolong for quite some time. Senior might have hidden Xiaolong when Senior was being hunted down, and came to this dragon island by himself. In the end, both sides suffered great losses, and both sides perished. Moreover, Xiaolong's bloodline is too strong. Among the known dragon clans, there doesn't seem to be a Xiaolong clan. Later generations don't know much about the prehistoric dragon clan, nor do they know much about the prehistoric dragon emperor. Therefore, Xiaolong could very well be a prehistoric dragon clan member, or even a prehistoric dragon emperor's son. Do you believe in coincidences in this world? The dragon asked Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded and said, I believe you. He then asked, Senior, are you saying that many things are just coincidences, and Xiaolong isn't the dragon emperor's son? That's right, the dragon said. Then it sighed and said, After thinking about it, I still can't tell you about young lord's origins because it won't do you any good. On the contrary, it won't do you any harm if you learn about it later. When young lord gradually grows up and unlocks the bloodline shackles, young lord will know about his origins. At that time, you will also know everything. Even the Golden Feather Clan cultivators don't know? Lin Feng asked. How could he be qualified to know? The dragon race being sneered. Lin Feng couldn't help but be surprised. What was Xiaolong's origin? He could deduce it from the dragon's words. Xiaolong's origin. It was definitely enough to scare someone to death. Unfortunately, for now, it was impossible to know Xiaolong's origin. At this time, the dragon's physical body began to gradually disappear. Clearly its time was up. Young lord, you must stay strong and live on. The dragon race being said in an extremely sorrowful manner. However, there was no turning back now. No one could save the dragon clan's living beings. Lin Feng couldn't do that either. He could only watch as the dragon's body gradually turned into a cold skeleton. Let me return to ashes, dust to dust, the dragon said. As soon as its voice fell, its body turned into a skeleton. Then, the dragon's skeleton burned. In the end, all that was left of his skeleton was a piece of saint bone that was surrounded by saint power. The rest of the skeleton turned into ashes. Senior, rest in peace, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. His heart was extremely heavy. Long Outyen couldn't help but sigh. His heart was also heavy. Separation in life and death. It was easy to feel sad. I suddenly want to see someone. I wonder how she is now, Long Outyen said. Her? A woman? Lin Feng looked at Long Outyen in surprise. The frivolous Long Outyen actually became sad because of a woman? Long Outyen said. There was once a sincere love placed in front of me. I didn't cherish it, it was too late to regret it when I lost it. There's nothing more painful in the world than this. If the heavens could give me a chance to do it again, I would say 3 words to that girl. I love you. If there's a time limit on this love, I hope it's 10,000 years. After hearing Long Outyen's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. This didn't sound like something Long Outyen would say. Where the hell did you copy this from? It's so sad and touching, Lin Feng said. Long Outyen said. Who copied it? This is original, understand? Lin Feng didn't dwell on this topic. He looked at Long Outyen and said, You can go and see her. Long Outyen said with a sad face. I've been suppressed for so long. Perhaps she's long gone. Long Outyen was very sad. Lin Feng could feel his low mood. He could also feel his terrible mood. It was just as Long Outyen said. The reason why Long Outyen was still so young was because the stone ball that sealed him was very special. It isolated the flow of time. That was why Long Outyen was still alive. However, the woman that Long Outyen was talking about, perhaps she had died of old age. Even if she didn't die of old age, she might have died in the catastrophe. After all, Long Outian was a living being before the primordial age. During that time, there were many catastrophes and countless living beings died tragically. Lin Feng patted Long Outian's shoulder. He didn't console Long Outian. He had to rely on himself. Chapter 4854. Lin Feng and Long Outian left the abyss. They went outside and found a place to go into seclusion. Lin Feng sent Xiaolong into the space-time space. Xiaolong should still need some time to digest those memories. Long Outian was refining the Dragon Clan's sacred bone that he obtained. Lin Feng began to comprehend the Dragon Emperor's roar, the Dragon Clan's great divine ability. This Dragon Clan's great divine ability was very powerful. Lin Feng naturally wanted to cultivate this divine ability as soon as possible. With Lin Feng's current understanding of the Tao, it wasn't particularly difficult to comprehend this divine ability. After Long Outian refined the sacred bone, Lin Feng had already successfully comprehended the Dragon Emperor's roar. Of course, Lin Feng was only at the beginning. He wanted to cultivate this divine ability to a higher level. Obviously, it wasn't that easy. It would take a long time to polish it. Lin Feng and Long Outian continued to walk deeper into the abyss. Lin Feng and Long Outian were very interested in the prehistoric Dragon Emperor's legacy. However, they didn't know where the legacy of the prehistoric Dragon Emperor was. Other than the legacy of the prehistoric Dragon Emperor, they were also very interested in the prehistoric Dragon Emperor's son. Now, they could confirm that Xiaolong wasn't the prehistoric Dragon Emperor's son. Then, could the purple Xiaolong they saw earlier be the prehistoric Dragon Emperor's son? This point, Lin Feng and Long Outian weren't too sure. They could only come to a conclusion after confirming it. On this day, Lin Feng and Long Outian saw the purple Xiaolong again. The purple Xiaolong was fighting with a flaming demon wolf king. The flaming demon wolf king was a king-level creature on Dragon Island. Its battle strength was very terrifying. Moreover, the flaming demon wolf king was different from the dragon-eating scorpion that Xiaolong killed earlier. Although the dragon-eating scorpion was also very powerful, it was because of its huge size. Facing the smaller Xiaolong, it would be at a disadvantage in terms of speed. The flaming demon wolf king was different. The inferno demon wolf king was 5 to 6 meters long and 3 to 4 meters tall. It wasn't much different from the purple dragon. As such, the raging flame demon wolf king's body was extremely agile. It would not be easy for the little purple dragon to suppress the flaming demon wolf king with its speed. The inferno monstrous wolf king had a huge advantage in terms of strength. As such, the little purple dragon had suffered quite a bit in its battle with the flaming demon wolf king. Bang! 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 Sounds of violent collisions could be heard. The little purple dragon was sent flying again and again by the flaming demon wolf king. However, the little purple dragon did not back down. This little fellow. Advance courageously. Never give up. Even though its injuries were getting worse and worse, the little purple dragon still had no intention of retreating. The inferno demon wolf king, on the other hand, looked at the little purple dragon with a mocking expression. Clearly, in the raging flame demonic wolf king's opinion, Xiaolong was dead for sure. Is this little dragon stupid? It doesn't know how to run. Outian was speechless. If it were Long Outian, he would have run away long ago. It's challenging its own limits. It wants to use this opportunity to break through its own shackles, Lin Feng said. Even so, he still needs to consider his own combat strength. Against the raging flame monstrous wolf king, who is extremely fast and has a terrifying cultivation base, he will only be oppressed. This guy's head must be damaged. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so arrogant as to challenge the raging flame monstrous wolf king, Outian said. He wanted to help the little purple dragon. However, he was stopped by Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "Don't worry, let's wait and see." Outian nodded. He continued to look at the battlefield. Bang! At this moment, accompanied by a violent collision sound, the little purple dragon was once again sent flying by the flaming demon wolf king. This time, the little purple dragon suffered an even more serious injury. Many of the purple dragon's scales on the little purple dragon's body had fallen off. Dragon blood kept flowing out. It struggled to get up from the ground. The flaming demon wolf king looked at the little purple dragon like a cat playing with a mouse. Then, it walked towards the little purple dragon step by step. Roar! Suddenly, a deep roar came from the raging flame demon wolf king's throat. When the roar was heard, the crowd was stunned. The flaming demon wolf king had already leaped out and pounced towards the little purple dragon. The flaming demon wolf king seemed to be looking down on the little purple dragon. However, when it really attacked, the flaming demon wolf king was more cautious. The wolf clan. They had always been a cunning and cautious clan. For example, the flaming demon wolf king in front of them. It wanted to kill the little purple dragon with a single blow. However, at this moment, the little purple dragon began to move forward. Its steps were very special. There seemed to be a special rhythm mixed into its steps. The little purple dragon took a total of 9 steps. In the next moment, endless killing intent surged out from the little purple dragon's body. After feeling the terrifying killing intent from the little purple dragon, Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal an extremely shocked expression. That killing intent was too terrifying, making him feel a chill run down his spine. Was this really the killing intent that a young dragon could condense? Even Long Outyan was very shocked. He obviously didn't expect the little purple dragon to have such a move. The killing intent surging out from the little purple dragon should be related to its steps just now. Lin Feng didn't know what kind of steps it was. Perhaps it was a powerful magical ability passed down by the dragon clan? The little purple dragon also leaped up and charged towards the flaming demon wolf king. The two sides met in midair. Then, they both raised their claws and slapped at each other. The little purple dragon's claws were surrounded by dense killing intent. Bang! In the next moment, the two sides collided. The little purple dragon's attack. It actually broke the flaming demon wolf king's attack. The flaming demon wolf king was sent flying. The little purple dragon's body fell to the ground. Then, it leaped out and instantly pounced on the flaming demon wolf king. The little purple dragon opened its mouth. It bared its fangs. Then, it bit towards the flaming demon wolf king's neck. Crack! The little purple dragon bit off the flaming demon wolf king's neck. Then, the little purple dragon and the flaming demon wolf king fell to the ground at the same time. The flaming demon wolf king twitched violently a few times and then completely stopped breathing. The little purple dragon lay on the ground motionless. The little purple dragon's injuries were also very serious. Especially the attack just now. It made the little purple dragon almost exhausted. The little purple dragon's eyelids seemed to be closing. It seemed to be going to sleep. The little purple dragon was really too tired. At this time, Lin Feng and Long Outyan walked out from their hiding place. Then, they walked towards the little purple dragon. The little purple dragon, who was about to fall asleep, saw Lin Feng and Long Outyan. It actually struggled to stand up again and looked at Lin Feng and Long Outyan with vigilance. Right now, it's almost completely relying on its willpower to stand up. This little purple dragon's willpower is just too strong. Chapter 4855. Earlier, the little purple dragon had led Lin Feng and Long Outyan to a place where a group of dragon kings had gathered. Lin Feng and Long Outyan had been attacked by the dragon kings because of that. Fortunately, the little dragon had used the Dragon Emperor's deterrence skill to buy some time for Lin Feng and Long Outyan. Lin Feng and Long Outyan had managed to escape. It was obvious that the little purple dragon was an extremely intelligent being. Therefore, Lin Feng knew that the little purple dragon could definitely understand what he was saying. Lin Feng said, "Little guy, we don't mean any harm. We just want to check on your injuries." The little purple dragon still looked at Lin Feng cautiously. It did not believe Lin Feng just because of Lin Feng's words. The little purple dragon was extremely cautious. Of course, there was nothing wrong with being careful. There was nothing wrong with the little purple dragon's actions. "Kid! I'll give you a chance now. Follow me from now on. I won't mistreat you. When the time comes, I'll nurture you into a peerless powerhouse," Long Outyen said with an arrogant look on his face. After hearing Long Outyen's words, the little purple dragon looked at him with disdain. F***ck, how dare you look down on me? Are you asking for a beating? Long Outyen glared at the little dragon. He was despised by the little dragon. This made Long Outyen extremely depressed. After all, Long Outyen was an extremely prideful person. He could not accept being despised by the little dragon. Roar! The little dragon let out a low roar. Then, an extremely powerful battle intent emanated from the little dragon's body. After feeling the powerful battle intent emanating from the little dragon, Lin Feng could not help but look impressed. The little dragon was injured to such an extent and was almost exhausted. However, it was still full of battle intent. In this world, there was never a lack of cultivation geniuses. However, those cultivation geniuses would eventually disappear from the world. Why was that? The reason was that their willpower was not strong enough. They faced all kinds of temptations. Those geniuses gradually lost their way. Or when they encountered some difficulties, those geniuses chose to take a shortcut, instead of facing difficulties head-on. Therefore, due to various reasons, those geniuses lost themselves and did not truly grow up. In the final analysis. Or was it because those geniuses' willpower wasn't strong enough? If one's willpower was strong enough, such a thing would never happen again. The biggest advantage of this little purple dragon was not how strong its talent was, but its willpower was too strong. Lin Feng himself was also one of those people with strong willpower. As such, towards Xiaolong, Lin Feng actually quite admired him. People were often like this. They appreciated people with similar personalities. Brat, do you really think that Master Long has a good temper? I'm going to beat you up right now, Long Outyen said fiercely. Lin Feng said, You have the nerve to bully a dragon whelp? Long Outyen quibbled. I'm not bullying you. I'm just sparring. Do you understand? Don't slander me. Although he said that, Long Outyen did not make a move in the end. Are you the son of the prehistoric dragon emperor? Lin Feng looked at Xiaolong and asked. Xiaolong shook his head. Do you know where the son of the prehistoric dragon emperor is? Lin Feng continued to ask. Xiaolong continued to shake his head. Then do you know where the prehistoric dragon emperor is buried? Lin Feng asked for the third time. Xiaolong extended his claw and pointed in a direction. Then, he spoke a sentence in the dragon race's language. What is he saying? Lin Feng looked at Long Outyen and asked. He said that we can search in the direction he pointed. Rumor has it that the prehistoric dragon emperor is buried in a certain location in that direction. Long Outyen said. Thank you. Lin Feng cupped his fists at Xiaolong. Xiaolong then turned around and left. Lin Feng did not stop Xiaolong from leaving. Long Outyen wanted to make a move, but Lin Feng stopped him with his gaze. After Xiaolong left, Long Outyen asked, Why did you stop me? Lin Feng said, Xiaolong's willpower is too strong. You can't force it to do something it doesn't want to do. If you do that, what do you think it will do? Long Outyen frowned slightly. I think it will fight back with all its might. If it can't win, it might even choose death. It won't choose to submit, Lin Feng said. Long Outyen smiled bitterly. If you think about it carefully, it is indeed possible for Xiaolong to do something like that. Lin Feng said. That's why I stopped you. Let it leave. Its willpower is so strong. I think that if it can grow up smoothly, its future will be limitless. If we form a good relationship with it now, it might be beneficial for us in the future. Long Outyen nodded. Lin Feng then said, Let's go. Let's go to the direction Xiaolong mentioned. Let's see if we can find the burial ground of the prehistoric dragon emperor. Long Outyen said. You really believe that little dragon's words? Lin Feng said. Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? I don't think it has any reason to trick us. Lin Feng and Long Outyen headed deeper into the forest. 10 days later, they passed by a forest. Suddenly, a sinister wind swept across the land. Demonic energy surged and covered the sky. Lin Feng and Long Outyan were trapped in the violent demonic energy. When they saw this, Lin Feng and Long Outyan's expressions turned grave. They had no idea what had sealed this place. "Kid, have you thought about how you want to die?" At that moment, a sinister voice sounded. A sinister and terrifying existence appeared in the demonic energy. This existence was none other than the Eternal Heaven Monarch. When he saw the Eternal Heaven Monarch, Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. Lin Feng had not expected to meet the Eternal Heaven Monarch here. This was going to be troublesome. Back then, Goddess Ruoshui had been able to suppress the Eternal Heaven Monarch because she was too strong. Lin Feng had no way of suppressing the Eternal Heaven Monarch. Even if the Eternal Heaven Monarch had turned into a Yin god, he was still a master god from the era of conferred gods. Therefore, the Eternal Heaven Monarch was still unfathomable. "I really did not expect to meet you here. I want to eat your flesh and drink your blood." At this moment, another eerie and terrifying voice rang out. In the next moment, two cultivators walked out of the demonic energy. The one who spoke was none other than the king of the foreign creatures who had been suppressed by the Confucian sect. The other person was the female cultivator who had saved the king of the foreign creatures. Chapter 48-56. F***CK, the situation doesn't seem too good. Long Outyan gloomily looked at the three experts around him. Needless to say, the Eternal Heaven Monarch's cultivation was unimaginably strong. The same went for the king of foreign creatures. The weakest one was the female cultivator beside the king of foreign creatures. But that was only relative. To be honest, that female cultivator's combat strength was extremely terrifying. If anyone dared to underestimate that female cultivator, they would definitely not have a good ending. Of course, Lin Feng and Long Outyan would not underestimate that female cultivator either. Originally, Lin Feng's heart had sunk to the bottom of the valley. But after a short moment of worry, he thought of a countermeasure. Therefore, his originally serious expression could not help but relax. Lin Feng sneered and said, "So it's you losers. This young master did not go looking for you, but you actually came looking for this young master. Are you tired of living?" Long Outyan, who was at the side, wailed in his heart. F***CK, brother, can you stop bragging? What kind of situation is this? You're still bragging. Of course, Long Outyan naturally did not say these words out loud. He only muttered in his heart. Right now, Long Outyan's mind was filled with thoughts of how to break out of this encirclement. But for the time being, he did not dare to act rashly. Because, if there were any strange movements, when the time came, he might even have to endure a thunderous attack from the other party. At that time, he would definitely die. When the three experts heard Lin Feng's words, they could not help but be slightly stunned. Next, the three experts' faces instantly turned gloomy. Lin Feng actually dared to look down on the three of them like this. How could the three of them not be angry? The Eternal Heaven Monarch said, "Kid, don't you know what you're capable of? You actually dare to act cool in front of us. I think you're tired of living, right? Now that Goddess Ruoshui is not by your side, do you think there's anyone who can save your life today?" The foreign king also sneered and said, "Brat! Back in the Confucian sect, you ruined my plans, and even in my dreams I wanted to cut you into 1,000 pieces. Now, I've finally found the chance. With your meager strength, I can crush you with a single finger. I really don't know where you get the courage to brag in front of me." The two of them were extremely powerful. Naturally, he did not put Lin Feng in his eyes. The female cultivator didn't say anything, but she looked at Lin Feng with contempt. Clearly, the female cultivator also looked down on Lin Feng. They didn't just look down on Lin Feng. At the same time, he did not take Long Outyan seriously. To them, killing Lin Feng and Long Outyan was too easy. At this point, the Eternal Heaven Monarch said, "Fellow Taoist, I was the one who discovered this brat first. So, you should give him to me." The foreign king said, I have great enmity with this child. If Dao Friend is willing to give this child to me, I will definitely remember Dao Friend's favor. Lin Feng was surprised. He had thought that these people knew each other, but now it seemed like they didn't know each other. If that was the case, was it a coincidence that the three of them met? When he thought of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel speechless. To think that he would meet the Eternal Heaven Monarch and the Foreign King by chance. Moreover, he met the two of them at the same time. Wasn't this too unlucky? Lin Feng felt that he was really unlucky. However, no matter how unlucky he was, he still had to face this matter head-on. Besides, Lin Feng also had a trump card. He was full of confidence. Lin Feng said, "You two stop arguing. You're going to meet the King of Hell later. What's the point of arguing about such useless things? Big brother, can we stop bragging?" At the side, Long Aotian looked like he was about to cry. In Long Aotian's opinion, Lin Feng was simply too good at bragging. Long Aotian really wanted to say that he didn't know this braggart. Could he just let him go? However, Long Aotian also knew that it was useless to say those words. Therefore, he didn't say those words out loud. Given the current situation, he could only take one step at a time. As for the Eternal Heaven Monarch and the Foreign King, they were trembling in anger at Lin Feng's words. The Eternal Heaven Monarch said coldly, "Die, brat." As soon as he finished speaking, the Eternal Heaven Monarch opened his palm and slammed it toward Long Aotian. A huge energy palm condensed in the void. The huge energy palm contained a power that could destroy the world. After sensing the terrifying aura of the huge energy palm, Long Aotian's face turned pale. He shouted, "I'm dead! I'm dead! I'm dead! I'm really dead now!" Of course. Long Aotian didn't just sit there and wait for death. He began to circulate his magic power, as though he was about to launch a counterattack. At this moment, the Foreign King unleashed an attack as well. He waved his palm gently in the void. All of a sudden, a cold gleam condensed. That cold gleam slashed out at Lin Feng and Long Aotian. The aura of that cold gleam was extremely horrifying. Naturally, it wasn't something that any ordinary person could fight against. Long Aotian's face was even more terrible now. The attack of the Eternal Heaven Monarch was already this tyrannical. Right now, the Foreign King had struck as well. With this, it seemed like it would be even more difficult to defend against the other party's attack. However, at this moment, Lin Feng took out a treasure. The treasure that Lin Feng took out was none other than the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram. This treasure was far from simple. It was a forbidden weapon that the Confucian sect had created based on the ancient weapon, the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram. Once the power of a forbidden weapon was released, it would be extremely horrifying. Some forbidden weapons could even release up to 90% of the original weapon's power. Lin Feng activated the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram. Buzz! The true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram vibrated violently. Immediately after, the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram expanded rapidly. In the blink of an eye, the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram had turned into a gigantic ancient diagram that covered an area of 1 mu. The true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram swept out 2 terrifying beams of light. The 2 beams of light blasted out towards the attacks of the Eternal Heaven Monarch and the Foreign King respectively. Bang! Bang! Accompanied by 2 violent collisions, the sound of 2 violent collisions was heard. The 2 beams of light from the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram instantly destroyed the attacks of the Eternal Heaven Monarch and the Foreign King. Holy sh*T, that's awesome! Seeing the power of the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram, Long Aotian couldn't help but exclaim. Lin Feng controlled the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram to attack the Eternal Heaven Monarch, the Foreign King, and the female cultivator. 1 beam of light after another surged out from the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram. Chapter 4857. The 3 powerful beings had already witnessed the horrifying power of those light beams. Hence, when the true Dragon Crouching Heavens diagram once again swept out those light beams, the faces of the three powerful beings changed drastically. Everyone's face couldn't help but reveal a dignified expression. Obviously, they had not expected Lin Feng to have such a powerful move up his sleeves. Of course, the three powerful beings were not to be trifled with either. The Eternal Heaven Lord took out the Black Prison Monument. The King of the Foreign Creatures took out a war spear. As for the female cultivator, she took out a curved blade. The three powerful beings controlled their powerful magic treasures and charged towards those light beams. Clang! 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 After a series of collisions, the light beams swept out by the true dragon crouching heavens diagram were destroyed by the three powerful beings. The Eternal Heaven Lord said, "This is just a forbidden weapon. Even though it's powerful, it doesn't last for long. There's no need to worry that this fella can hurt us with this forbidden weapon. Let's work harder and we'll be able to kill this fella soon." The King of the Foreign Creatures and the female cultivator naturally thought so too. They did not think that Lin Feng could cause any waves. As such, the three powerful beings strengthened their attacks. Powerful magical powers surged endlessly into their magic treasures. They activated their magic treasures to neutralize the attacks of the true dragon crouching heavens diagram. At this very moment, Lin Feng was still familiarizing himself with the power of the true dragon crouching heavens diagram. After all, this was the first time he had activated such a powerful forbidden weapon. He did not have a deep understanding of the power of this top-grade forbidden weapon. This required a process of familiarization. Once he was completely familiar with this supreme treasure, when the time came, he would definitely be able to unleash the full power of this supreme treasure. Just like right now, Lin Feng felt that his control over the true dragon crouching heavens diagram was getting stronger and stronger. True dragon crouching heavens. Destroying the world. Lin Feng's cold voice suddenly rang out between the heavens and earth. Roar! All of a sudden, a loud dragon roar rang out between the heavens and earth. Following that, the true dragon crouching heavens diagram underwent a transformation. From a gigantic ancient diagram, the true dragon crouching heavens diagram turned into a gigantic dragon instantly. It was a true dragon. Its purple scales flickered with a cold luster, and its eyes shot out a terrifying light. The power of the true dragon crouching heavens diagram was needless to say. Now that he had transformed into the body of a true dragon, his battle prowess soared. That kind of power. Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. That true dragon bared its fangs and brandished its claws, shaking its head and wagging its tail as it launched an attack on the three powerhouses. Huff, huff, huff. The true dragon opened its bloody maw and spat out a dragon breath that filled the sky. The dragon breath attack had always been one of the most powerful techniques of the dragon tribe. This was the innate ability of the dragon clan. Once it was unleashed, its power would naturally be boundless. Right now, this true dragon transformed from the true dragon Futian diagram displayed the dragon clan's natal super ability. Its power was unimaginable. The three powerhouses moved to block the dragon breath attack. But the dragon breath attack was very special. Dragon breath was a special kind of energy that fused the dragon origin energy and the dragon clan's aura to form an attack. Therefore, the races were different. The power of dragon breath was also very different. At the same time, the dragon breath attacked the cultivators from all directions. Ordinary Dharma treasures couldn't block the dragon breath attack. If one wanted to resist the dragon breath attack, one could only use a super ability or use a defensive Dharma treasure to block the dragon breath attack. The three powerhouses didn't hesitate at all. They chose to use their super abilities to resist the dragon breath attack. The three powerhouses had high cultivation realms and were very powerful. They couldn't be afraid at all. So what if the true dragon Futian diagram had transformed into a true dragon? The three powerhouses still felt that they could neutralize the attack of the true dragon Futian diagram. They couldn't be bothered to use a defensive Dharma treasure. When the Eternal Sky Lord used his mystique, eternal divine brilliance, boundless divine light poured out from behind him. The divine light seemed to transform into an eternal divine sun. When the eternal divine sun illuminated the heavens, something shocking happened. The eternal divine sun withstood the attack of the dragon breath. The eternal heaven lord was indeed powerful. Although he had turned into a yin spirit, he still had some of the top super abilities of the past. The king of the foreign creatures also displayed a powerful super ability. The foreign creatures began to recite an incantation. After his incantation, between heaven and earth, unexpectedly, a vast ocean had appeared. That vast ocean. It let out a loud rumbling sound. In the vast ocean, waves surged to the sky. When the dragon breath rushed over, the waves in the vast ocean collided with the dragon breath. The dragon breath was blocked by the vast ocean. The female cultivator's methods were also very extraordinary. Although her combat strength couldn't compare to the eternal heaven lord and the king of the foreign creatures, but the inheritance that she had mastered wasn't much weaker than theirs. The female cultivator's jade-like hands kept changing hand seals. Suddenly, a huge moon rose into the sky. In the bright moon, there was a jade rabbit. The jade rabbit and the bright moon complemented each other. No one knew what kind of super ability it was. The dragon breath that rushed toward the female cultivator was blocked by the rising moon and the jade rabbit. The three powerhouses' attacks were indeed very powerful. But the true dragon's attack wasn't over yet. The true dragon was still spewing out powerful dragon breath. At this time, Lin Feng took out the Hoi Bao and the Sunshot Divine Arrow. In addition to the Sunshot Divine Arrow, Lin Feng also took out many magic arrows. 7 stars piercing the moon. 9 stars aligned. Arrows were shot out by Lin Feng. At the same time, Lin Feng's Sunshot Divine Arrow was also hidden among the many magic arrows. Those arrows were shot at the 3 powerhouses. The magic arrows were shattered by the attacks of the 3 powerhouses. Ordinary magic arrows couldn't hurt these powerhouses. But Lin Feng's true killing move was the Sunshot Divine Arrow. The Sunshot Divine Arrow was hidden among the ordinary magic arrows. The 3 powerhouses couldn't discover the Sunshot Divine Arrow. When they discovered it, it was already too late. The Sunshot Divine Arrow's target was the king of the foreign creatures. Previously, when he was in the Confucian sect, Lin Feng had used the Sunshot Divine Arrow to injure the king of the foreign creatures. This time, the Sunshot Divine Arrow once again quickly pierced through the boundless ocean that the king of the foreign creatures had created. Then, it shot murderously towards the king of the foreign creatures. When the king of the foreign creatures saw the Sunshot Divine Arrow, it was already too late. Damn it! The king of the foreign creatures couldn't help but curse. Pooh! The king of the foreign creatures had just finished cursing. The Sunshot Divine Arrow already pierced through the king of the foreign creature's body. Ah! The king of the foreign creatures released a miserable scream. After the Confucian sect broke free, the king of the foreign creatures had never recovered. Now, his body was once again pierced through by the Sunshot Divine Arrow. Meanwhile, at this time, Long Outyen activated a heaven-overturning seal, fiercely smashing it towards the king of the foreign creatures. The two sides cooperated extremely well. The king of the foreign creatures' expression was ugly, a palm smashing towards the heaven-overturning seal. However, the hasty attack, together with the injuries on his body, caused the king of the foreign creatures' fighting strength to plummet. Chapter 48-58. At the sight of this, Lin Feng's morale was greatly boosted. Finally, one of them was heavily injured. Now there was a good show to watch. The foreign king's injuries were already this serious. The amount of use he could play in this great battle was already extremely low. The remaining Eternal Heaven Monarch and that female cultivator were easy to deal with. Ha ha! You little bastard! Now you know how powerful your daddy Long Outyen is? At this moment, Long Outyen could not help but laugh out loud. Long Outyen had been sullen before this. Now, the king of foreign creatures was injured to such an extent by him and Lin Feng. Naturally, Long Outyen wanted to show off. I hate you! The king of foreign creatures roared in anger. His face could not help but contort. Ever since he was born, he had been injured repeatedly. Besides, he had been defeated twice by Lin Feng, which infuriated the king of the otherworldly spirits. He wanted nothing more than to cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces. Originally, the king of foreign creatures, Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He planned to take advantage of the king of foreign creatures' injuries to get rid of him as soon as possible. Lin Feng brought out the 5 stone swords again. The 5 stone swords were as fast as lightning as they slashed towards the eternal heaven monarch. At the same time, Lin Feng brought out the supreme treasure, the Bell of Hell. The runes on the Bell of Hell awakened. As the runes awakened, one after another, the power of the Bell of Hell continued to increase. The Bell of Hell vibrated with a power that could destroy the heavens and earth as it blasted towards the female cultivator. At the same time, the sun-slaying divine arrow flew back into Lin Feng's hand. Lin Feng drew his bow and shot another arrow at the king of foreign creatures. Now, Lin Feng was multitasking. He activated the true dragon crouching heavens diagram, the 5 stone swords, the Bell of Hell, Ho Yi's bow, and the sun-slaying divine arrow to attack the 3 powerhouses. As for Long Outyan, he was cooperating with Lin Feng to deal with the king of foreign creatures. Long Outyan activated the heaven-overturning precious imprint, once again smashing towards the foreign king. The true dragon formed by the true dragon crouching heaven diagram also continuously spewed out powerful dragon breath attacks, blasting towards the foreign king. Lin Feng drew his bow and shot another arrow. The sun-shooting divine arrow flew out quickly. Then, it shot towards the foreign king. The foreign king's expression was overcast to the extreme. He was held back by the dragon breath attack and Long Outyan's sky-flipping seal. He was a little tired of dealing with it. After all, he was still injured. Indeed, he was unable to fully unleash his combat strength. Therefore, when the sun-shooting divine arrow came again, even though the foreign king tried its best to dodge, it still couldn't avoid the sun-slaying divine arrow's attack. Pooh! It was accompanied by a tearing sound. Sun-shooting divine arrow. Once again, it pierced through the foreign king's body. What a powerful force! Even the foreign king was sent flying. When the distant eternal heaven monarch saw this, his face sank. The eternal heaven monarch was an extremely cautious person. Now, he saw that the foreign king was injured. And the injury wasn't light. Lin Feng's true dragon crouching heaven diagram was so powerful. Wanting to kill Lin Feng now didn't seem too realistic. Therefore, the foreign king planned to leave quickly. When there was a chance next time, then, he would attack and kill Lin Feng. As for the foreign king's life and death, the eternal heaven monarch couldn't be bothered. They didn't have much of a relationship to begin with. Now that they were working together to deal with Lin Feng, it was only because their common enemy was Lin Feng. After thinking of this, the eternal heaven monarch attacked with all his might. First, he sent the 5 stone swords flying. Then, he broke free from the dragon breath attack. Then, he turned around and fled into the distance. ****. After seeing the eternal heaven monarch leave, the foreign king couldn't help but curse angrily. Lin Feng sneered and said, "Your temporary ally has abandoned you. Now, are you ready to die?" Swoosh! The sun-slaying divine arrow flew out once more. It shot towards the foreign king at high speed. PFFF! The sun-slaying divine arrow caused huge damage to the foreign king's body for the 3rd time. 3 bloody holes appeared on the foreign king's body. Fresh blood continued to flow out from the 3 bloody holes. Lin Feng wanted to kill the king of the otherworldly creatures in one go. But at this moment, the foreign king roared out in anger. "Why is it like this? I am the dignified foreign king! To think that I would suffer in the hands of a human ant twice! What a humiliation! What a humiliation! But if you want to kill me, that's impossible. If I want to leave, you can't stop me at all." After the foreign king's voice fell, the foreign king's body directly exploded. His body turned into a ball of demonic light. Then, That ball of demonic light wrapped around the female cultivator, and then quickly fled into the distance. This is an escape technique used when escaping. This kind of method is extremely harmful to the body. Now that the foreign king has used such a desperate method, he probably won't be able to use his combat strength for a short period of time. Now is the best chance to kill him. Let's go, chase after him and kill him, Lin Feng said. Long Ao Tian nodded. Lin Feng and Long Ao Tian chased after the king of the exotic creatures. Lin Feng operated the 8 directions world and combined it with the Tao of space. He pushed his speed to the limit. Therefore, he kept the foreign creature king in the distance, not allowing it to smoothly leave all this time. Both sides, one fleeing and one chasing. They flew quickly in the forest. There were many cultivators in the forest. When they saw the two sides fighting, they weren't too surprised. Because they didn't see that the ball of demonic energy was formed by the foreign king's desperate method. They also didn't recognize that the cultivator chasing after him was the famous Lin Feng. And in the world of cultivators, battles between cultivators were too common. So, after seeing this kind of situation, they all had an expression as if it was a common occurrence. In the end, the demonic energy formed by the foreign king entered a mountain forest shrouded in fog. Lin Feng and Long Outyen chased after him without hesitation. When they chased into the mountain forest, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Because the visibility in that mountain forest was very low. The suppression of divine sense was even more serious. So, Lin Feng couldn't use his divine sense to search for the whereabouts of the foreign king. Other than that, Lin Feng was extremely wary of that female cultivator. That female cultivator's concealment technique was extremely terrifying. Lin Feng reminded. Be careful, that female cultivator is good at concealment techniques. Chapter 48-59. Lin Feng tried to use his divine will to sense the surrounding situation. But, even with divine will, he couldn't find anything special. Lin Feng felt that the king of foreign creatures must have deliberately lured them here. This place. It was easy to get rid of Lin Feng and Long Outyen's pursuit. If he wanted to ambush Lin Feng and Long Outyen, it would also be much easier. Suddenly, the surrounding fog began to churn violently. Lin Feng and Long Outyen were separated by the fog. When Lin Feng went to search for Long Outyen's whereabouts again, Long Outyen was nowhere to be found. He and Long Outyen were separated by someone. Buzz! In the next moment, a cold sword appeared behind Lin Feng. That cold sword quickly pierced towards Lin Feng. The female cultivator beside the king of foreign creatures stepped out from the void. A sword pierced towards Lin Feng. She was proficient in concealment techniques, and was simply the most perfect assassin. Therefore, she circled behind Lin Feng and launched a sneak attack on Lin Feng. Before she made her move, Lin Feng didn't even notice any traces of this female cultivator. Her methods were truly terrifying. It made one's hair stand on end. Lin Feng guessed that the person who had just separated him and Long Outyen was this female cultivator. Seeing that the cold sword was about to pierce through Lin Feng's body, but at this time, Lin Feng's body had already quickly dissipated. Although he did not find any traces of that woman. But Lin Feng's sudden inspiration ability was extremely awesome. When the other party made his move, Lin Feng's sudden inspiration ability had already sensed it. So, he used his teleportation technique. Before the other party's sword could stab him, he had already disappeared without a trace. Because of this, he successfully dodged the other party's attack. Lin Feng appeared 100 meters away. He looked at the female cultivator coldly. Lin Feng said, "The foreign creatures are all extremely ugly, but I never thought that you would be so enchanting and charming." The female cultivator was slightly startled. She did not expect Lin Feng to say such words. The female cultivator then sneered. "How many foreign creatures have you seen? You simply do not understand the composition of the foreign creatures. How about the two of us have an in-depth exchange? When the time comes, I will understand the composition of the foreign creatures." Lin Feng emphasized the words. In-depth exchange. The female cultivator naturally understood the meaning behind Lin Feng's words. Her beautiful face was ice cold. "You reckless fool! You're already at death's door, yet you still dare to spout nonsense here. I'll chop your head off later," the female cultivator said coldly. As soon as she finished speaking, her body disappeared without a trace. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. This woman was indeed a powerful character. It seemed that she had once again used her concealment technique, wanting to launch a sneak attack on him. This time, Lin Feng's sudden inspiration ability actually lost its effect. Actually, when encountering danger, the sudden inspiration might not be able to sense everything. There were some dangers that could not be sensed by the sudden inspiration. Other than that, if one grasped some relatively powerful or strange methods, they could also deceive the heavens. At that time, the sudden inspiration ability would also lose its effect. Lin Feng felt. This female cultivator had probably already guessed that he had grasped the ability of the sudden inspiration. That was why she used other methods this time. Lin Feng was not surprised at all that this female cultivator had mastered a method that could deceive the heavens. Of course, Lin Feng did not only rely on the sudden inspiration ability to deal with all sorts of dangers. The sudden inspiration was just one of Lin Feng's auxiliary methods. Lin Feng began to circulate his haki. Now Lin Feng had cultivated 5 haki. These 5 haki were the Supreme Haki, Supreme World-Destroying Haki, Azure Dragon Haki, White Tiger Haki, and Epic Haki. Lin Feng superimposed the 5 haki together, forming a haki magnetic field. When the haki magnetic field was formed, it was as if the surrounding void had been sealed. At this time, the female cultivator appeared. The female cultivator appeared 3 meters to the left of Lin Feng. She was already very close to Lin Feng. She was about to launch a sure-kill attack on Lin Feng at any time. But Lin Feng displayed the haki magnetic field in time, immediately destroying the female cultivator's plan and causing the female cultivator to reveal her true body. Haki magnetic field. You actually cultivated several different haki. The female cultivator's pretty face became extremely ugly. Cultivators who cultivated haki were extremely rare, and cultivators who cultivated 2 types of haki were even rarer. They were as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. And Lin Feng, the haki that he cultivated wasn't just 2, but 5. Such a character was probably rare even in the history of the era. Therefore, the female cultivator was extremely shocked. "Do you know how powerful I am? Then submit to me." Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator's enchanting figure and beautiful face and said. The female cultivator sneered and quickly retreated, wanting to get rid of Lin Feng's haki magnetic field. Because under the cover of Lin Feng's haki magnetic field, her battle strength was suppressed to the extreme. Right now, the female cultivator felt that she only had about 60% of her peak battle strength. Almost half of her battle strength was lost. Losing so much battle power would have a huge impact on one's body. So, the female cultivator didn't want to continue entangling with Lin Feng. However, how could the female cultivator be able to get rid of Lin Feng just because she wanted to? Lin Feng quickly chased after the female cultivator. Holding the black dragon sword in his hand, he slashed at the female cultivator. This female cultivator's most powerful skill was the Tao of Assassination. Her Tao of Assassination. Unparalleled in the world. However, her ability to fight head-on was not good. In fact, this female cultivator was somewhat similar to many assassins. Those assassins were also extremely powerful in their assassination techniques, and could even kill cultivators who were far above their own realm. However, Lin Feng's haki magnetic field was too much of a suppression on the female cultivator. Firstly, under the haki magnetic field, the female cultivator was unable to use her assassination techniques. Secondly, under the haki magnetic field, the female cultivator's battle strength was reduced by as much as 40%. Now that her battle strength had dropped so much, she couldn't use her best techniques. Therefore, when Lin Feng arrived, he was extremely angry. The female cultivator was instantly suppressed by Lin Feng. However, this female cultivator was indeed very powerful. even though her battle strength had been greatly reduced and she couldn't use her best techniques. She still didn't show any signs of defeat. It was impossible for Lin Feng to defeat her in a short period of time. However, Lin Feng's methods were far more than that. He summoned the two evil god stone statues. The two evil god stone statues joined the battlefield. The battle strength of these two evil god stone statues was extremely terrifying, not inferior to Lin Feng's battle strength. After the two evil god stone statues joined the battlefield. Chapter 4860. Ha 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 ha, looks like you're destined to be caught by me today. Where's the king of foreign creatures? Hurry up and let him come out as well, Lin Feng said with a laugh. In Lin Feng's opinion, this female cultivator definitely wouldn't be able to escape. Unless the king of foreign creatures came out to help him. It was perfect to lure the king of foreign creatures out. If the king of foreign creatures really dared to come out. When the time came, Lin Feng also had a way to deal with the king of foreign creatures. After all, the king of foreign creatures' battle strength had long plummeted because of his injuries. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't fear the king of foreign creatures. Don't be complacent too early, the female cultivator said coldly. He began to try to break out of the encirclement. Once, twice, thrice. But, every time he tried, it would end in failure. Right now, Lin Feng's battle strength was too strong. After all, Lin Feng and the others were working together. Lin Feng found a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He slapped the other party's shoulder with his palm. Instantly, that female cultivator was sent flying by Lin Feng. The two evil god stone statues brandished their battle swords and slashed towards the female cultivator. They wouldn't show mercy to the fairer sex. The female cultivator's pretty face suddenly changed. Facing the attacks of the two evil god stone statues, she didn't fight them head-on. Instead, she chose to dodge quickly. However, the female cultivator had just dodged the attacks of the two evil god stone statues. Lin Feng had already arrived beside her. Lin Feng used the powerful divine ability, the 8 divine seals. Numerous runes condensed and formed. Those runes. All of them flew towards the female cultivator. Runes after runes. They directly sealed the female cultivator's body. The female cultivator's pretty face instantly became extremely ugly. Lin Feng pinched the female cultivator's chin and said with a smile, "The king of foreign creatures actually didn't appear. That guy doesn't seem to care about your life and death. Now that you've fallen into my hands, what do you think?" The female cultivator coldly said, "If you want to kill me or torture me, do as you wish. I won't even frown." Lin Feng said, "You should really be glad that you're so beautiful and charming. I've always been protective of women, so I won't kill you. However, I have a lot of questions for you. When I ask you later, you'd better answer me honestly. Otherwise, I have many ways to make you talk." The female cultivator said coldly, "Give up, I won't say anything." "Are you really not going to tell me?" Lin Feng caressed the female cultivator's beautiful face and said, "If you don't tell me, do you believe that I will sell you to a brothel? You're shameless." The female cultivator looked at Lin Feng angrily. "I don't think I'm shameless." Lin Feng shrugged and said, "Of course, if you cooperate with me, I won't treat you like this. What do you want to ask?" The female cultivator asked with an ugly expression. "What's there to ask? We'll talk later. Right now, I need to find my companion," Lin Feng said indifferently. He suppressed the female cultivator and the 4 ferocious cauldrons. Then, he went to find Long Outyen. The surroundings were shrouded by restrictions, forming an illusion array. Lin Feng walked out of the illusion array. "Long Outyen, where are you?" Lin Feng shouted. "I'm here. Come and save me," Long Outyen screamed. Lin Feng was shocked when he heard Long Outyen's cry for help. He did not dare to hesitate, and quickly rushed towards the direction of the voice. Soon, Lin Feng saw Long Outyen. This guy was actually trapped in a swamp. A golden pagoda floated above Long Outyen. The golden pagoda released a golden bell barrier. It protected Long Outyen, who was inside. Are you okay? Lin Feng asked. Damn, luckily you appeared in time. The king of foreign creatures tricked me and trapped me here. Just as he was about to kill me, your voice came. The king of foreign creatures did not dare to stay and quickly escaped. Otherwise, I would have died. Long Outyen said with a frightened expression. Look at how timid you are. Don't you have a defensive magic treasure? With this treasure, you can definitely hold on for a while, Lin Feng said. He used his magic power to form a large hand of energy. The large hand of energy grabbed Long Outyen. Lin Feng tried to pull Long Outyen out of the swamp. However, Lin Feng realized that Long Outyen's body did not move at all. Damn, this is so strange. Lin Feng was surprised. There seems to be something entangled with my body, Long Outyen said. At this moment, Long Outyen's body began to sink rapidly. In an instant, it submerged Long Outyen's neck. Long Outyen shouted, Hurry up and save me. That thing is pulling me down. Lin Feng quickly slashed out sword chi. The sword chi quickly flew into the swamp below. Then, in the swamp, there was a poochie. Poochie. There was a tearing sound. When the tearing sound was heard, a large amount of blood gushed out from the swamp. He did not know what was entangled with Long Outyen under the swamp. It could actually cause blood to flow out. It was extremely strange. Long Outyen took the opportunity to rush out. He was covered in mud and looked to be in a sorry state. That damn king of foreign creatures actually dared to trick me like this and put me in such a sorry state. The next time I see him, I will definitely tear that grandson into pieces. Long Outyen said fiercely. Lin Feng said. It's a pity to let this guy escape. Where's that woman? Could it be that you've caught him? Long Outyen asked curiously. Lin Feng nodded and said, That's right. I caught her and suppressed her. Let's find a place. I want to interrogate this woman about the foreign world. Foreign world? Damn, what a world that people yearn for. I also want to know what kind of world the foreign world is. Long Outyen's eyes immediately lit up. Obviously this guy. Towards the foreign world. He was also very curious. To the cultivators of this starry sky world, the foreign world was indeed filled with mystery. The two of them did not stay and quickly left. After Lin Feng and Long Outyen left, a cultivator walked out from a big tree. That cultivator was none other than the king of foreign creatures. The king of foreign creatures did not go far. He used a special method to hide himself in the big tree. Damn it, damn it. I am the dignified king of foreign creatures. To think that I would end up like this. Lin Feng, you little bastard. All of this is thanks to you. I won't let you off. Chapter 4861. Lin Feng and Long Outyen found a secluded and dry cave. Then, Lin Feng used a restriction to seal the cave. Then, he summoned the female cultivator out. The female cultivator was still sealed, so she couldn't move. TSK, this little girl's figure is quite hot, and her face is also beautiful. She is also a foreign life form, and is filled with exotic charm. Long Outyen grinned and said, Shut up, you four-legged reptile! The female cultivator glared at Long Outyen fiercely. Four-legged reptile was the greatest insult to the dragon race. This female cultivator had already become a prisoner, but she still had such an arrogant attitude. In fact, this was a type of personality that had been nurtured in her bones. These foreign creatures were extremely powerful. They had always been high and mighty existences. So, he simply looked down on the creatures of this world. Even if Long Outyen was from the Eastern Divine Dragon race with a powerful bloodline, he was still not placed in the other party's eyes. Bitch, I've given you face, haven't I? You're just a prisoner now. Do you believe that I won't slap you to death? Long Outyen was furious. He rolled up his sleeves. It was as if he wanted to slap the female cultivator a few times. Lin Feng said, Why are you arguing with a prisoner? You can be considered to have lived 2 lifetimes, yet you still can't see past it. Hearing Lin Feng's words, Long Aodian said, You're right, there's no need to argue with a prisoner. Moreover, I'm a man, and as the saying goes, only vile people and women are difficult to deal with. I'm a man, there's no need to argue with a woman. Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator and asked, What's your name? My name is Natasha, the female cultivator said. Natasha? What a strange name! Lin Feng could not help but mutter and then asked, Where did you come from? Natasha said, Actually, I am a cultivator born in the undying realm. Lin Feng could not help but frown. You are clearly an otherworldly creature. How could you have been born in the undying world? Natasha said angrily. My ancestors came from a foreign world, but I didn't. In the past, my ancestors followed the foreign king. However, back then, they suffered a heavy blow, the foreign king suppressed by the Confucian sect's Kong and Meng two saints. The remaining few managed to escape with their lives, and then they went into hiding, waiting for the day when they accumulated enough power to rescue the foreign king. Only in these past few years, the various great powers haven't been friendly towards the foreign creatures, which is why the foreign creatures have been suppressed greatly, the foreign creatures' strength recovery also comparatively slower. Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. The various great forces were unfriendly to the creatures of the other side, and they had the nerve to say something like that. Why are the great powers so unfriendly towards the foreign creatures? Do you not have the slightest idea? Wasn't it all because the foreign creatures had caused too much slaughter back then? Many people hated the foreign creatures to the extreme. Of course, Lin Feng did not interrupt Natasha's words. Natasha continued, Later on, when we finally accumulated strength with great difficulty, we also successfully rescued the foreign king. Only, this era seemed to have already changed. It is no longer an era where the foreign creatures can run amok without fear, said Lin Feng. The era of the king of the otherworldly creatures has already passed. In this era, there are too many strong cultivators who can oppress the king of the otherworldly creatures. He has been imprisoned for so many years. After coming out, he should have gone into hiding instead of continuing to wander around outside. Just wait and see. It won't be long before the foreign king dies without a doubt. Natasha did not refute Lin Feng. Perhaps she also had a premonition about this. From the matter of dealing with Lin Feng, one could see some clues. Even dealing with a young cultivator like Lin Feng suffered such a huge setback. Did this mean that the foreign king's fate was already over? As for cultivators, fate was very important. This unseen and untouchable fate would affect a cultivator's life many times. Lin Feng continued to ask, Then where did your ancestor come from? Kunlun, 9 provinces, Nirvana, time. These were the 4 universes that Lin Feng knew of. The universes they were currently in. It was the 9 provinces universe. As for the foreign creatures, they usually referred to the creatures of the 3 universes. Kunlun, Nirvana, and time. It was unknown what kind of world these 3 universes were. However, the foreign creatures that walked out of these 3 universes were all extremely terrifying. Because creatures that could cross universes were usually extremely heaven-defying existences. It was just like the king of the foreign creatures, when he was at his peak. This guy was at least at the sage realm. It's just that his cultivation base has dropped. Natasha said, My ancestor came from the Nirvana universe. Nirvana universe? What kind of universe is that? Lin Feng asked curiously. Natasha said, Actually, I don't know what kind of universe it is because I rarely hear my elders mention it. I only heard that their situation in that universe is extremely bad. But, as time passed, the elders from that universe fell one after another. So now, the descendants of the foreign creatures that were born in this universe know even less about that world. Lin Feng asked. Then, how many experts do you have in your clan? Natasha said. Other than the foreign king, there is also an ancestor-level expert. That ancestor's strength is very terrifying, but that ancestor has always been at the life and death threshold. Even when we rescued the foreign king, that ancestor did not come out of seclusion. Where are your clansmen now? Lin Feng asked. What do you want to do? Natasha looked at Lin Feng and asked. She bit her lip and said, If you want to find them and kill them, I won't tell you. I know that your methods might be extraordinary, and you might have a way to convert me or enslave me, but there is a seal in my mind. If you try to convert me or enslave me, I can choose to die. I would rather die than betray my clansmen. Lin Feng frowned slightly and said, Fine, I won't ask about your clansmen's whereabouts, and I won't convert you. However, if I let you go just like that, I won't be willing. I've already told you what you want to know. What else do you want me to do? Natasha asked. Lin Feng said, You wanted to kill me before. Although I have a tender heart for the fairer sex and don't kill beautiful women, I won't let my enemies go so easily. Lin Feng said as he pinched Natasha's delicate snow-white bottom. The corners of his mouth curled up into a faint smile. What do you want to do to me? Natasha's heart was in a mess. Lin Feng smiled and said, I haven't thought of how to deal with you yet. I'll suppress you first. Chapter 4862. 800 times! 100 times! Long Outyen immediately shouted. Lin Feng could not help but roll his eyes. Shameless scum! How could I do such a thing? Lin Feng kicked Long Outyen and said, Don't talk nonsense here. I'm a righteous person. How could I do such a despicable thing? Hearing Lin Feng's words, Long Outyen immediately curled his lips and looked at him as if he was lying. After a short rest, Lin Feng and Long Outyen continued to rush towards the depths of the island. As the Dragon Island was very large, Lin Feng and Long Outyen flew for a long time. About a month later, they gradually found that the number of cultivators had increased. After a careful investigation, they found out that someone had leaked the information about the prehistoric Dragon Emperor's tomb. Therefore, a large number of cultivators were rushing in this direction. Long Outyen cursed loudly when he heard the news. What the F***ck? Which bastard leaked the news? With so many cultivators here, who knows how many times more difficult it will be to obtain the fortune here? In fact, Lin Feng was also a little depressed. He did not know who was behind this. Lin Feng also could not understand why the other party leaked the information. If this information was not leaked, there would not be many cultivators who knew about this secret. In a situation where there were fewer people to snatch the opportunity, the probability of getting the opportunity would definitely increase greatly. Now, Lin Feng's heart was in a mess. After all, there were too many cultivators here. It was hard to say who would get the opportunity. Most of the time, it was not that one's cultivation level was high enough to get the opportunity here. In the world of cultivators, there were countless cultivators whose cultivation level was not high enough to snatch the opportunity from the hands of experts. I heard that there is a Dragon Emperor mountain in the depths of the island. The prehistoric Dragon Emperor was buried under the Dragon Emperor mountain, a cultivator said. The prehistoric Dragon Emperor's legacy and natal magic treasure are definitely terrifying. I just don't know who will get them in the end. Then, another cultivator said, Do you think the descendants of the prehistoric Dragon Emperor are also under the Dragon Emperor mountain? Maybe the Dragon Emperor's offspring hasn't even hatched yet, the third cultivator said. The cultivator's words caused a heated discussion among the crowd. In fact, what the cultivator said was very likely to happen. If he could find the son of the prehistoric Dragon Emperor and hatch the little Dragon Emperor, he would be able to do it. This was heaven-defying, because this was not as simple as obtaining a powerful pet. At that time, he might be able to use Little Dragon Emperor to command the prehistoric dragons. Thinking of this, many people couldn't help but look forward to it. Everyone wanted to find Little Dragon Emperor. In fact, Lin Feng and Long Outyen were also discussing the matter of the young Dragon Emperor. However, how difficult was it to find the young Dragon Emperor? When they arrived at the burial ground of the prehistoric Dragon Emperor, they would see if the little Dragon Emperor was inside. Lin Feng and Long Outyen continued to fly deeper. Lin Feng frowned and said, "Why haven't I seen any prehistoric dragons during this time? What about the prehistoric dragons? Where did they go?" Long Outyen said, "During this period of time, a steady stream of cultivators poured into Dragon Island, and from time to time, great battles would break out. The prehistoric dragons probably suffered a lot of losses, so I guess that those prehistoric dragons should have retreated to a safe place." Lin Feng thought about it, and felt that it was possible. 5 days later, Lin Feng and Long Outyen arrived at the Dragon Emperor Mountain. The Dragon Emperor Mountain was a huge mountain range that stretched for dozens of miles. There were a total of 9 mountain peaks. Inside the Dragon Emperor Mountain, dragon aura surged and purple light spewed out. In many places, one could even see prehistoric dragons condensed from dragon aura. That was the spirit essence. It was not a real creature. Therefore, they would not attack the cultivators who entered the Dragon Emperor Mountain. "It's really a holy land for cultivation," Long Outyen sighed. From the outside, this place was indeed a holy land for cultivation. However, to be honest, Lin Feng felt that something was wrong. Mainly, this place. There were 9 mountains. 9 was the ultimate number, which meant that it was unknown. Back then, why did the prehistoric Dragon Emperor choose such a place to pass away? "Don't you feel that there's something wrong with this place?" Lin Feng said as he looked at Long Outyen. Long Outyen asked doubtfully, "Something's wrong? What's wrong?" 9 is an unknown number," Lin Feng said. He did not say much, because Lin Feng believed that Long Outyen understood what he wanted to say. Long Outyen said, "The ancient Saint Emperor felt that the number 9 was too vague, so he reduced it to 5. However, I'm guessing that the ancient Saint Emperor reduced the number from 9 to 5 after the prehistoric era. Therefore, in the prehistoric era, 9 was still the number of supreme beings. Therefore, when looking for a burial place, they preferred to look for the place where the 9 dragon veins converge instead of the 8 dragon veins of the modern era." Lin Feng nodded and said, "If that's the case, then I can understand why the prehistoric Dragon Emperor chose this place to pass away." The inner region of the Dragon Emperor mountain range was sealed by restrictions, so they couldn't enter yet. However, more and more powerful cultivators arrived one after another. Those cultivators who came from big sects floated outside the Dragon Emperor mountain range and looked into the mountain range. As for the cultivators from other factions and independent cultivators, they stayed far away from the mountain range. Lin Feng saw some familiar faces, such as the Eternal Heaven Monarch, the 8 Extreme Palace Patriarch, the Chu Clan Patriarch, and others. Of course, there were also some top experts that Lin Feng did not recognize. Apart from them, Lin Feng also saw the Moon Goddess, Huangfu Qing Tian, the son of the Eastern Emperor, the blood-haired woman, the decaying corpse, and other powerful beings. Lin Feng also saw the great demon Yu. At the same time, Lin Feng also saw someone. The female Holy Spirit. She was also here. She was the Holy Spirit King, and had some interactions with Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng did not see Little Fairy. Lin Feng remembered that Little Fairy was cultivating beside the female Holy Spirit, but Little Fairy did not come here. Perhaps she was in seclusion. Lin Feng planned to go over and greet the female Holy Spirit, but he gave up in the end. The female Holy Spirit was the focus of countless people. If he went over to greet the female Holy Spirit now, he would be exposed. If that was the case, he would definitely become the target of public criticism. Apart from these experts, young Master Shuiyu, young Master Mingyu, young Master Xingyu, and others were also here. In addition, there were several peerless fairies, such as Mu Jiasi and others, who were also here. Everyone was waiting for the restrictions of the Dragon Emperor mountain range to open. Rumble! A day later, the restrictions of the Dragon Emperor mountain range let out an earth-shaking sound. Immediately. Chapter 4863. The restrictive spell of Dragon Emperor mountain range lasted for 3 days before dispersing completely. After that, a great number of cultivators poured into Dragon Emperor Mountain Range. Of course, those who entered Dragon Emperor Mountain Range first were the top powers of those top powers. After they entered Dragon Emperor Mountain Range, the other cultivators dared to enter Dragon Emperor Mountain Range one after another. Lin Feng wasn't in a hurry. In a place like this, the first to enter would indeed have a higher chance of obtaining a fortune. However, since so many cultivators had already rushed in, there was no point in being anxious. Therefore, Lin Feng seemed to be more relaxed. Lin Feng and Long Outyen entered the mountain range together. Many people were looking for the entrance to the place where the prehistoric Dragon Emperor passed away. Not long after, news spread that someone had found the entrance in the deepest part of the mountain range. Many top experts had already rushed in. When Lin Feng and Long Outyen arrived, they saw a large number of cultivators flying towards the huge cave. The huge cave was like the mouth of a lion, emitting a gloomy and terrifying aura. It should be there. I wonder what the prehistoric Dragon Emperor left behind. Long Outyen couldn't help but say. Lin Feng frowned because he felt that something was wrong. However, Lin Feng couldn't pinpoint what it was. This feeling was very strange, but it was also very real. What exactly is wrong? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter in his heart. Long Outyen had an excited look on his face. It was clear that Long Outyen wasn't paying attention to the situation outside. Lin Feng transmitted his voice to the Demon Lord. Demon Lord, do you feel that something is wrong here? The Demon Lord said. Something is indeed wrong. Aside from the cultivators from outside, there are no other living beings on Dragon Island. The prehistoric dragon race and other powerful beings have all disappeared without a trace. Logically speaking, since the prehistoric Dragon Emperor's place of death has been discovered, the powerful beings on Dragon Island should also appear here. However, they didn't appear. This is a little puzzling. There must be a reason for this abnormality. Lin Feng's expression was uncertain. He thought for a moment and said, I think this place is dangerous. I'd better not go in. The Demon Lord transmitted his voice. All right. Let's wait and see. Lin Feng pulled Long Outyen and said, This place is too strange. Let's not go in. We'll stay outside and observe for a while. If there are any problems, we'll immediately run away. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Long Outyen immediately became vigilant and asked, What's wrong? Do you feel that something is wrong? Lin Feng nodded and said, There is indeed something wrong. The prehistoric Dragon Emperor's place of death has appeared, but there are no fierce beasts or prehistoric dragons. Moreover, the surroundings are strangely quiet. It's just that these cultivators have been blinded by the benefits in front of them. Those who haven't been blinded are usually the stronger cultivators who have incomparable confidence in themselves. Even if they feel that something is wrong, they don't care. Long Outyen said, Now that you mention it, I do feel that this place is a little strange. Let's wait outside and see. I don't want to lose my life because of some unreliable opportunities. Lin Feng and Long Outyen quickly rushed outside and hid in the forest. More and more cultivators entered. After 6 hours, there were very few cultivators outside. However, there were still some cautious cultivators who wandered outside in the forest and at the same time observed the situation inside and outside the Dragon Emperor mountain range. At this moment, the energy between heaven and earth became chaotic. When he felt the chaotic energy fluctuations between heaven and earth, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. This sudden change made him feel as if something unknown was about to happen. Long Outyen said, I can feel the aura of a dragon. Although they hide it very well, I can still sense it. Lin Feng didn't sense the aura of a dragon, but Long Outyen was different. Long Outyen was an Eastern divine dragon, and he belonged to the dragon race. Therefore, Long Outyen was very familiar with the aura of a dragon. Therefore, Long Outyen could sense some of the aura that Lin Feng couldn't sense. The energy in the Dragon Emperor mountain range has become chaotic, and you can sense the aura of a dragon. It seems that something terrible is about to happen. Let's quickly leave the Dragon Emperor mountain range, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. Long Outyan nodded and quickly flew outside with Lin Feng. He saw some cultivators wandering around the Dragon Emperor mountain range. Lin Feng couldn't help but shout, "What are you waiting for? Let's go quickly, something terrible is about to happen in this place." Actually, Lin Feng didn't have to remind those people. But Lin Feng was so kind. He naturally didn't want to see those people die tragically here. After those cultivators heard Lin Feng's shout, although they didn't know what was going to happen, they didn't dare to stay any longer. They all rushed outside. After Lin Feng and the rest left the Dragon Emperor mountain range, dense array patterns suddenly appeared inside the Dragon Emperor mountain range. Those array patterns were actually dragon patterns. They were ancient array patterns passed down by the dragon race, and their power was unimaginable. Seeing those activated dragon patterns, everyone couldn't help but show a look of fear on their faces. Fortunately, everyone came out in time. Otherwise, they would be trapped in the mountain range by those dragon patterns. Thinking of the terrifying power contained in those dragon patterns, many people felt a sense of fear. "It's the sacrificial dragon pattern," Long Outyan said. "Sacrificial dragon pattern? What kind of dragon pattern is this?" Lin Feng asked in confusion. Long Outyan said, "It's an extremely ancient dragon pattern. It's one of the top dragon patterns mastered by the prehistoric dragon race. This dragon pattern is extremely domineering. It's said that this dragon pattern can be used as a sacrifice to the living beings in the universe. The prehistoric dragon race must have set up these dragon patterns. They probably want to sacrifice the cultivators who entered the Dragon Emperor mountain range," Lin Feng said. During this period of time, the cultivators who entered Dragon Island had more than one battle with the prehistoric dragon race and many living beings on Dragon Island. This probably angered the prehistoric dragon race and those living beings. Therefore, the prehistoric dragon race set up this trap and spread the news that this is the place where the prehistoric dragon emperor passed away. It's all to attract more cultivators and then sacrifice them. That's right, that must be it. Long Outyan nodded. As soon as Long Outyan finished speaking, the sacrificial dragon pattern was completely activated. Chapter 48-64. Something is happening outside. Some cultivators in the depths of the Dragon Emperor mountain range also noticed the change. Because there were still some cultivators lingering outside the depths of the Dragon Emperor mountain range, they didn't enter the cave. However, when the energy fluctuation first occurred in the Dragon Emperor mountain range, they didn't evacuate immediately. The sacrificial dragon marks quickly sealed off the Dragon Emperor mountain range. Those cultivators wanted to escape. But it was too late. Rumble! Rumble! The earth quaked and the mountains shook. No one knew what was happening below the Dragon Emperor mountain range. There was definitely a shocking upheaval. Therefore, that was why such a huge change happened in the Dragon Emperor mountain range. At this moment, the screams of many cultivators could be heard from below the Dragon Emperor mountain range. Those screams were extremely tragic. Anyone who heard the screams below would have their hair stand on end. The cultivators outside didn't dare to stay. They quickly rushed out of the Dragon Emperor mountain range, wanting to leave the Dragon Emperor mountain range as soon as possible. However, it was obviously too late to leave the Dragon Emperor mountain range now. When those cultivators collided with the sacrificial dragon marks of the Dragon Emperor mountain range, many cultivators' bodies directly exploded. The rest of the cultivators quickly took out their defensive Dharma treasures to protect their bodies. Then, they took out their powerful offensive Dharma treasures to attack the sacrificial dragon marks. However, it was still useless. The sacrificial dragon marks emitted an extremely terrifying sacrificial power. The sacrificial power even ignited those offensive and defensive Dharma treasures. Those Dharma treasures also became the sacrificial targets. "No, I don't want to die here!" Many cultivators screamed in horror. The scene in front of them was too terrifying. They were trapped in the Dragon Emperor mountain range and couldn't rush out at all. Such a scene was simply despairing. At this moment, many cultivators rushed out of the cave. Some of the stronger cultivators were in an extremely sorry state. The weaker cultivators were in a miserable state. Each of them looked as if they were dyed in blood. The cultivators who had rushed out from the ground also rushed into the sky, trying to escape. Those cultivators were also quickly killed after touching the sacrificial dragon marks. Many of them died miserably. Sacrificial dragon marks! It's the sacrificial dragon marks! They want to sacrifice us alive! Someone shouted. It seemed that some people were quite knowledgeable and recognized that those runes were the legendary sacrificial dragon runes. The sacrificial dragon runes were too powerful, so when they heard the word sacrificial dragon runes, many cultivators' expression became extremely ugly. Break out! Hurry up and break out! We have to break out before the power of the sacrificial dragon tattoo erupts. Otherwise, we will definitely be trapped here and die. Another cultivator shouted loudly. Many cultivators gathered together and tried to break out, but at this time, the power of the sacrificial dragon tattoo began to erupt. Extremely terrifying sacrificial power gushed out of the sacrificial dragon runes and enveloped all the cultivators. Following that, the power of sacrifice ignited the bodies of the cultivators one after another. The cultivators wanted to extinguish the flames, but they couldn't. The sacrificial dragon tattoo was too terrifying. It turned the Dragon Emperor mountain range into a living hell. Lin Feng and the others stood in the distance and watched. They couldn't help but feel a chill down their spines. The methods of the prehistoric dragon tribe were truly horrifying. There were probably 30,000 to 40,000 cultivators who had arrived at this place. But in the end, not many of them could make it out alive. One cultivator after another was burned to ashes. Many of them were well-known figures in the outside world. But here, no one cared about their identity. A large number of cultivators died tragically in the Dragon Emperor mountain range. Of course, there were also some cultivators who managed to break out. For example, some extremely powerful cultivators, such as the female Holy Spirit, the Moon God, the Great Demon Yu, the Chu family's ancestor, and others. They were strong and had great treasures. Even the sacrificial dragon marks couldn't kill them. They successfully broke the attack of the sacrificial dragon marks and escaped. Those cultivators took some people with them. Of course, those they took away were basically their fellow sect members or clansmen. As for the life and death of strangers, those powerhouses didn't care. Many cultivators wanted to follow those powerhouses and leave, because those powerhouses had already torn apart the sacrificial dragon marks. But soon they despaired. After those powerhouses left, the sacrificial dragon marks quickly recovered. When those cultivators rushed to the sacrificial dragon marks, they were immediately attacked by the sacrificial dragon marks. Many cultivators died tragically because of that. The cultivators who had escaped didn't stay and quickly left this dangerous place. At this moment, an ancient dragon language resounded between heaven and earth. The ancient dragon city that disappeared. We use our blood and souls as sacrifices to summon the ancient dragon city back to the world. It's the sacrificial voice of the prehistoric dragons. Lin Feng was shocked. However, he didn't understand the meaning of the sacrificial words of the prehistoric dragons. Lin Feng looked at Long Outyen and asked, "Do you understand the dragon language?" Long Outyen nodded and said, "They seem to want to use the sacrificial method to summon an ancient city, but we don't know what kind of ancient city it is." Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. Previously, he thought that the prehistoric dragons had caused such a huge massacre because of the enmity they had with the foreign cultivators during this period. But now, things weren't as simple as they seemed. The fact that the prehistoric dragons wanted to summon an ancient city was puzzling. Why did they want to summon that ancient city? "Let's leave quickly. We can't stay here for long," Lin Feng said. Long Outyen nodded. Lin Feng looked in the direction of the Dragon Sovereign mountain range one last time. At this moment, cultivators were being sacrificed continuously. A large number of cultivators. One after another they died. Obviously, other than the top powerhouses, the rest of the cultivators couldn't escape with their own strength. Those tens of thousands of cultivators would probably die in the end. Lin Feng and Long Outyan quickly left the area. In the end, all of the cultivators were sacrificed. The area of the Dragon Sovereign Mountain Range was turned into a land of death. It was very terrifying. Even during the day, many vengeful spirits and evil spirits could be seen roaming around. The prehistoric dragons and various powerful ferocious beasts on Dragon Island appeared in the forest. Chapter 4865. Roar! Roars shook the heavens. Roars of dragons and cries of apes. More than 10 prehistoric dragons and 5 or 6 powerful dragon islanders surrounded Lin Feng and Long Outyan. Then, they launched an extremely ferocious and violent attack on Lin Feng and Long Outyan. These prehistoric dragons and dragon islanders were very powerful. However, Lin Feng and Long Outyan did not find it difficult to deal with their attacks because they were also very powerful. In the distance, the earth and mountains shook. It seemed like there were more prehistoric dragons and dragon islanders coming at them. Therefore, Lin Feng and Long Outyan did not plan to stay any longer. They did not want to continue fighting with these prehistoric dragons and dragon islanders. After all, there was nothing to gain from it. Lin Feng and Long Outyan quickly got rid of the prehistoric dragons and dragon islanders. Have these prehistoric dragons and dragon islanders gone mad? They are looking for foreign cultivators everywhere and killing them. Why are they doing this? Long Outyan could not understand the thoughts of the prehistoric dragons and dragon islanders. Previously, the dragons had sacrificed tens of thousands of foreign cultivators. Therefore, in their opinion, the prehistoric dragons should be able to stop for a while. However, they did not do so. They continued to massacre the foreign cultivators. Of course, the foreign cultivators were not to be trifled with. In the war, many prehistoric dragons and creatures of the Dragon Island were killed. This was a lose-lose result. However, the prehistoric dragons and creatures of the Dragon Island did not stop because of this lose-lose result. They continued to attack, and many cultivators died tragically. Many prehistoric dragons and dragon islanders also died. Corpses could be seen everywhere. Some were the corpses of prehistoric dragons, some were dragon islanders, and some were even foreign cultivators. Lin Feng said, "Could it be related to the appearance of the ancient city? The reason why the prehistoric dragons and Dragon Island massacred the foreign cultivators was because they wanted to prevent them from entering the ancient city when it appeared?" Long Outyan nodded and said, "Now that you mention it, I think it's possible." Lin Feng said, "If that's the case, then everything makes sense. I'm afraid this massacre won't end anytime soon." Long Outyan said, "Do you think the prehistoric dragon emperor passed away in the ancient city?" Lin Feng thought for a moment and said, "That's possible. However, we still don't know when the ancient city will appear and where it will appear on Dragon Island." Long Outyan said, "I'm guessing that the sacrificial ritual alone might not be enough to summon the ancient city. The sacrificial ritual is only the first step in summoning the ancient city. Next, the prehistoric dragons might use other methods to summon the ancient city." Lin Feng felt that it was very possible. In the following period of time, the massacre continued. Many cultivators knew that the situation was very bad, so a large number of them began to rush out, wanting to leave Dragon Island. Lin Feng and Long Outyan were targeted by a terrifying creature. It was a Dragon King level existence, a lightning dragon. The lightning dragon was only a dozen meters long. Compared to other prehistoric dragons, it was too small. However, as a Dragon King level existence, the lightning dragon's speed and combat strength were absolutely terrifying. Lin Feng summoned the 2 evil god stone statues and joined forces with Long Outyan to deal with the lightning dragon. However, they were still no match for the lightning dragon. In the end, Lin Feng and Long Outyan were helpless. They had no choice but to flee. The lightning dragon was very fast, so fast that it was unbelievable. Lin Feng used the 8 directional worlds and the Tao of space to support it. Even so, he still could not shake off the Dragon King's pursuit. "Flee! Flee to where there are more cultivators!" Long Outyan said. Even a Dragon King level existence would more or less be incomparably fearful of a place with many cultivators. Lin Feng fled outside the island. When he reached the outer area of the island, many cultivators had evacuated to this area. The lightning dragon let out an unwilling roar and quickly left. Lin Feng could not help but let out a long breath. Someone took out an ancient ship and intends to ride the wind and break the waves to leave Dragon Island. News spread and a large number of cultivators came to the seaside. Lin Feng and Long Outian also came here. They saw a huge ancient ship in the distant sea area heading out. Many cultivators had already boarded the ship. Bang! 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 However, at this moment, something in the sea area seemed to be hitting the ancient ship, so a series of violent collisions could be heard. It's the sea dragon! It must be the sea dragon! Many cultivators said in horror. Previously, everyone saw the sea dragon in the sea area. It was the absolute overlord of the sea and was unimaginably powerful. Now that the ancient ship had entered the sea area, it seemed very normal to become the sea dragon's target. Attack! A large number of cultivators rushed to the deck, and then the captain gave the order. All kinds of magic treasures flew out and sank into the sea, attacking the sea dragon. However, a terrifying thing happened. Those magic treasures sank into the sea and were swallowed by the sea dragon without even causing any waves. The sea dragon continued to hide in the sea and hit the ancient ship. Bang, bang, bang! After dozens of consecutive collisions, the sound of cracking could be heard. The ancient ship's restriction began to crack. It didn't take long for the ancient ship's restriction to be completely destroyed. But this was just the beginning. After the ancient ship's restriction was destroyed, the hull also began to crack. This was the most terrifying thing. Crack! Crack! The speed at which the hull cracked was extremely shocking. In the blink of an eye, the hull of the ship was completely shattered. Many cultivators soared into the sky, trying to escape. However, huge waves surged and swept over. A large number of cultivators were swept up by the huge waves. Then, those cultivators were swept into the sea. They were instantly submerged by the sea. No cultivators escaped. They had probably become the sea dragon's food. There were only a dozen or so cultivators who were not swept into the sea. There were about 400 or 500 cultivators on the ship, but in the end, only a dozen or so of them were relatively lucky. The sea dragon is guarding the sea area. There's no way to pass. Many people's faces turned pale. The sea dragon was too powerful. Its strength was probably much stronger than those dragon kings. It was definitely a terrifying existence close to the Saint Realm. Chapter 4866. The sea dragon is awesome. If I can swallow this sea dragon, my strength will definitely increase greatly, Long Outian said. Lin Feng said, with your small body, you probably won't even be enough to fill the gaps between the sea dragon's teeth. Long Outian said, nonsense, I just don't want to lower myself to the sea dragon's level. If I wanted to deal with that big guy, I could do it in minutes. After hearing Long Outian's words, Lin Feng immediately looked at Long Outian with incomparable disdain. Many of the surrounding people looked at Long Outian with a mocking expression because Long Outian was bragging too much. None of the creatures who came to Dragon Island dared to say that they were a match for the sea dragon. Whoosh! At this moment, a cultivator soared into the sky and quickly flew toward the sea. Damn, another one who doesn't care about his life, a cultivator said. In the sea region, huge waves rolled and swept towards the cultivators who flew into the sea region. At this moment, the cultivator's body changed. The cultivator's body turned into a white crane. After transforming into a white crane, the cultivator traveled through the huge waves and avoided the huge waves that swept toward him. It's Immortal Master White Crane, a true immortal powerhouse! Some cultivators could not help but exclaim. This Immortal Master White Crane was definitely an amazing figure. Not only was his cultivation powerful, but his speed was also unparalleled in the world. Therefore, he was able to avoid the huge waves. Roar! A low roar was heard, followed by the sound of splashing water. It was the sea dragon. It rushed out of the sea, opened its bloody mouth, and tried to swallow Immortal Master White Crane. It was a ferocious mouth that could swallow a huge mountain in one gulp. Immortal Master White Crane was about to be swallowed by the sea dragon. However, at this critical moment, Immortal Master White Crane flapped his wings and sped up, dodging the disaster. The sea dragon then fell into the sea. Because the dragons on Dragon Island could no longer fly. Therefore, the sea dragon naturally could not fly to chase after Immortal Master White Crane. Immortal Master White Crane is leaving Dragon Island, many cultivators said. He felt that Immortal Master White Crane would be able to leave soon. Soon, Immortal Master White Crane arrived at the area enveloped by the space-time force. However, when Immortal Master White Crane reached that area, there was a strong rebounding force. Immortal Master White Crane was sent flying back. Then, the lightning in the sky intertwined and blasted toward Immortal Master White Crane. Even though Immortal Master White Crane was very powerful, she was still able to withstand the attacks of the lightning bolts. However, the lightning above the Dragon Island was equally terrifying. Immortal Master White Crane was blasted away, and her injuries were not light. Before Master Immortal White Crane could stabilize herself, the sea dragon rushed out of the sea again. Then, it opened its bloody mouth and swallowed Immortal Master White Crane. Holy shit! Immortal Master White Crane is dead! After seeing this scene, many people couldn't help but exclaim. Immortal Master White Crane was a true immortal expert. Such an expert stood at the peak of the undying realm even in the post-apocalyptic world where experts came forth in large numbers. The death of a true immortal would naturally cause a huge uproar. Immortal Master White Crane was sent flying back from the area enveloped by the space-time force. Why is that? Does that mean we can't get out of here? At this moment, a cultivator asked. Hearing this cultivator's words, many people's faces became extremely pale and unsightly. Everyone's attention shifted from Immortal Master White Crane's tragic death to whether they could successfully leave the Dragon Island. Obviously, the result was extremely terrible, and many people were extremely worried. Find a place to rest for now, some of the higher-ups of the major factions ordered. The cultivators of the major factions left one after another. Lin Feng said, Everyone is temporarily trapped on the Dragon Island. I think there's going to be a big reshuffle soon. Long Outyen nodded. He had the same feeling. Many of the major factions would definitely want to occupy a better position or recruit more experts. After all, only by becoming stronger would they be able to obtain better resources on the Dragon Island and live a better life. A war was bound to break out. This also proved the eternal saying that where there are people, there will be conflicts. Lin Feng and Long Outyen flew into the distance and stopped near the beach. Many cultivators had already entered the Dragon Island. What happened next proved Lin Feng and Long Outyen's guess. A war broke out between the foreign cultivators, and these wars were basically led by the major factions. In order to fight for territory, resources, and so on, these forces were locked in a fierce battle. The casualties were extremely heavy. On this night, more than 10 cultivators surrounded a female cultivator. She was a woman in snow-white clothes. Her figure was very tall and charming, but because she was wearing a veil, her appearance couldn't be seen clearly. However, from her graceful and enchanting body, one could tell that she was definitely a peerless beauty. Why does this woman give me a feeling of déjà vu? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He felt like he had seen this woman somewhere before, but after thinking carefully, he couldn't remember where exactly. You obtained the dragon heart grass before. We won't make things difficult for you. Hand over the dragon heart grass. We will recommend you to join the Three Palaces Alliance. At that time, you will have a place to protect you. If you don't know how to appreciate favors, we brothers will let you know how powerful we are after we capture you. The leading cultivator looked at the female cultivator with an evil gaze and said, This guy was shameless enough to say such vulgar words. As for the dragon heart grass that the cultivator mentioned, Lin Feng had also heard of it. It was a heavenly treasure that could temper one's soul. After refining it, it could transform one's soul. It was an extremely rare treasure that was hard to find in the outside world, but someone found it on the Dragon Island. However, that woman was seen when she found the dragon heart grass and was now surrounded by a group of experts. As for the Three Palaces Alliance that the cultivator mentioned, Lin Feng had also heard of it. Recently, the major factions were fighting for territory. More than 10 powerful alliances had appeared one after another. The Three Palaces Alliance was one of them. The Three Palaces Alliance was a faction formed by the Baji Palace, Floating Cloud Palace, and Holy Ruins Palace. It was at least in the top 5 among the 10 alliances. Scram. Or die. Chapter 4867. This female cultivator who gave Lin Feng a sense of déjà vu was clearly very powerful. Facing a group of cultivators with ill intentions, she had no fear at all. The cultivators from the Three Palaces Alliance became gloomy. Ever since they joined the alliance, they relied on the alliance's reputation to live a smooth life. Who would dare to offend them? Offending them was the same as offending the powerful alliance. But today, someone actually dared to tell them to scram, so they naturally became quite angry. They glared at the female cultivator with an extremely cold glare. The leader sneered. "Bitch, we gave you a chance but you didn't cherish it. If that's the case, then we don't need to be polite with a bitch like you." Having said that, the leader waved his hand. The cultivators next to him pounced on the female cultivator like wolves and tigers. At this moment, everyone was trapped on Dragon Island, so the evil in their hearts was born. A beautiful female cultivator without a powerful background was very pitiful in a place like Dragon Island. This was especially true for the vagrant female cultivators. Even if they joined a few great powers, they would still end up as playthings for the upper echelons. Many people didn't dare to do things that they didn't dare to do in the outside world, but here, they became unscrupulous. This included these cultivators. They only knew that this female cultivator was alone. As for her identity in the outside world, they didn't care. On Dragon Island, this female cultivator was a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. They were thinking about how to capture this female cultivator and how to humiliate her in order to make themselves feel better. "Ignorant fool!" The female cultivator's voice was indifferent. She reached out with her right hand and a lotus flower emerged. This was not a real lotus flower, it was formed from a technique. After the lotus flower condensed, it quickly flew towards the group of cultivators. The lotus flower bloomed in the air. After it bloomed, an amazing thing happened. The bodies of the cultivators who pounced on the female cultivator began to crack. "What's going on? No, I don't want to die. It's you, it's your lotus flower that released an invisible power. Because of this, our bodies have been wounded. Spare us, we were wrong. Please spare us." The group of cultivators began to loudly beg for mercy. However, the female cultivator didn't pay any attention to the begging cultivators. Bang, 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 in the end. The bodies of those cultivators exploded, leaving only the leader of the cultivators. After seeing this scene, the leader of the cultivators trembled. His entire body trembled in fear. Only now did the leading cultivator realize that they had kicked an iron plate. This female cultivator was not someone they could provoke. How could the leader dare to stay any longer? He turned around and ran away, wanting to leave this place. But at this moment, the lotus quickly chased after the fleeing cultivator and crashed into him. Following a violent explosion, the fleeing cultivator's body blew up. It was the cultivator who had escaped. Died on the spot. Meanwhile, the lotus flower that the female cultivator had summoned dissipated. The female cultivator didn't stop. She entered the forest and quickly left. In the blink of an eye, she had disappeared without a trace. Long Outyan could not help but sigh. Lin Feng said, "I keep feeling like I've seen this woman somewhere before, but I can't see her face. For a moment, I can't remember when I've seen her." Long Outyan said, "Could it be one of your old lovers?" Lin Feng rolled his eyes. He said, If it's true, do you think I can't recognize her? Lin Feng and Long Outyen planned to enter the inner part of Dragon Island. They wanted to find the ancient city mentioned by the prehistoric dragon race. Thus, the two of them entered Dragon Island once again. However, when they arrived at the central region, they retreated. Because there were a large number of prehistoric dragon race and Dragon Island living beings in that region. It was not an easy task to pass through that area without anyone noticing. I really want to find that little purple dragon we met before. To think that we wanted to help it before, but this guy tricked us, Long Outyen said. He was still brooding over the matter of the Dragon Emperor mountain range. Lin Feng did not express his opinion on this. In fact, Lin Feng had a strange feeling in his heart. Perhaps, the little purple dragon did not lie. However, the Dragon Emperor mountain range was not the place where the prehistoric Dragon Emperor passed away. At that time, the little purple dragon only pointed in one direction to Lin Feng and Long Outyen. The little purple dragon did not tell them that the prehistoric Dragon Emperor passed away in the Dragon Emperor mountain range. In the end, Lin Feng decided to return to the outer region for the time being. He and Long Outyen would wait for a while and see what was going on. That night, the bonfire burned brightly. The barbecued meat had turned golden, and oil dripped into the fire from time to time. The aroma filled the air. Lin Feng and Long Outyen ate the meat while drinking wine. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At that moment, the sound of air being torn apart could be heard. More than 30 cultivators flew over quickly. The cultivators surrounded Lin Feng and Long Outyen. Who are you? How dare you stay in the Yin-Yang Alliance's territory? Are you spies sent by other alliances? At that moment, a cultivator looked coldly at Lin Feng and Long Outyen. Lin Feng knew that many places were divided by the major factions. Therefore, many forces would send some cultivators to patrol their territory. They did not allow cultivators from other factions to stay in their territory. Now that these people saw Lin Feng and Long Outyen, they were naturally hostile. We're itinerant cultivators passing by, Lin Feng explained. Itinerant cultivators? You say you're an itinerant cultivator, so you're an itinerant cultivator? How do you prove that you're an itinerant cultivator? Another cultivator looked at Lin Feng with a cold smile. Lin Feng frowned slightly. He realized that many people were looking at him with hostility. It seemed that someone wanted to kill him and steal his treasures. Such things were naturally commonplace in the world of cultivators. At that moment, a female cultivator said, Senior brothers, these two are indeed itinerant cultivators. I know them. When he heard that voice, Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator who spoke. His face was immediately filled with astonishment. The female cultivator who spoke was none other than Long Outyen. Chapter 4868. Tong Yali was originally the fiancé of the Dao Saint Palace's direct descendant, Di Juetian. Di Juetian did not really like Tong Yali. It was mainly because Tong Yali had the legendary 9-yin body. She was a top-grade cultivation vessel. In addition, Tong Yali was so beautiful. Therefore, Di Juetian had some thoughts about Tong Yali. Di Juetian was a lustful person. If she was an ordinary woman, he would have already taken her by force. However, Tong Yali had a powerful force behind her. Therefore, he could only follow the rules and send someone to propose. The Tong clan knew that Di Juetian harbored evil intentions. Therefore, they did not agree to this marriage at the beginning. Because marrying Tong Lia to Di Juetian was simply pushing Tong Yali into a fire pit. However, Di Juetian asked the Dao Saint Palace's upper echelons to threaten the Tong clan. If they did not agree to this marriage, they would destroy the Tong clan. Under the pressure, the Tong clan finally agreed to this marriage. However, Tong Yali was very unwilling. She had been looking for an opportunity to assassinate Di Juetian. As long as she secretly killed Di Juetian, this marriage would naturally be left unsettled. The enmity between Lin Feng and Di Juetian was because when the ancient tomb that buried the immortals in the starry sky world appeared, Lin Feng went to explore it. Dijuetian felt that Lin Feng might have some powerful divine ability. Therefore, he sent Zhang Qian to kill Lin Feng. Therefore, the enmity between the two parties was born. After Lin Feng met Tong Lia, the two of them hit it off and planned to work together to kill Dijuetian. After Lin Feng killed Dijuetian, he obtained Dijuetian's heavenly fire green dragon True Fire. As for Tong Yali, she did not need to marry Dijuetian anymore. Ever since he parted with Tong Yali, Lin Feng had not seen her again. When Lin Feng left, Tong Yali felt a sense of loss. She wanted to go to the Undying Realm to look for Lin Feng. Later, Tong Yali really came. However, she only knew how dangerous the Undying Realm was after coming to it. Tong Yali had been working hard to raise her cultivation. She hoped that one day she would be able to meet Lin Feng. Tong Yali had naturally heard of the Sinner's Blood Emperor, Lin Feng. However, Tong Yali didn't connect the Sinner Blood Emperor Lin Feng to the Lin Feng she knew. Because it was rumored that the Sinner's Blood Emperor Lin Feng was in existence capable of killing celestial immortals. The Lin Feng she knew. Back then, his battle prowess hadn't even reached the level of a loose immortal. How many years had it been? Tong Yali naturally wouldn't believe that the Lin Feng she knew could kill a celestial immortal. However, how difficult was it to find Lin Feng in the vast sea of people? However, Tong Yali didn't expect to see Lin Feng here. This made Tong Yali extremely happy. You know him? The leading golden-robed young master looked at Tong Yali and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Tong Yali said, "The two of them are my companions. We ascended together from the lower realm. However, we appeared in different places when we ascended. Thus, they are definitely not spies of other factions. Since they are junior sister Tong's companions, then let them off," the leading golden-robed young master said. The group of people scattered around to rest. Tong Yali came to Lin Feng's side. She looked at Lin Feng somewhat excitedly and said, "Lin Gongzi, I really didn't expect to see you here." Lin Feng said, "I also didn't expect to see little Lily here. Looks like we are really fated." Little Lily? Holy shit, is this beautiful fairy your old lover, little Lin Feng? Long Outian couldn't help but cry out. Tong Yali's pretty face instantly turned pink. She came to the Undying Realm to look for Lin Feng. However, being called Lin Feng's old lover by Long Outian, she was more or less embarrassed. After all, no matter what, Tong Yali was also a woman. Lin Feng said, "You rascal, don't talk nonsense." Long Outian grinned and then said, "Hee hee, you guys continue chatting. I will find a place to rest. I won't disturb you guys from kissing each other here." At least Long Outian knew his place. He took a piece of barbecued meat and ran away. Lin Feng smiled at Tong Yali and said, "Little Lily, how long have you been in the Undying Realm?" Tong Yali said, "It has been 5 years. That's not too long." Lin Feng smiled and then said, "You didn't come to the Undying Realm to look for me, right?" After hearing Lin Feng's words, Tong Yali's pretty face turned even redder. Lin Feng hit the nail on the head. However, as a woman, Tong Yali naturally couldn't directly admit such things. She said, "Why would I come to look for you? I want to continue improving my cultivation. That's why I came to the Undying Realm." "So that's the case. You made me happy for nothing," Lin Feng said with an extremely regretful expression. Tong Yali was afraid that Lin Feng would misunderstand her, and almost told the truth. However, as a woman, Tong Yali swallowed the words she almost blurted out at the last moment. Tong Yali changed the topic and asked, "You have been in the Undying Realm for so many years. What have you been doing? Have you joined any big forces?" Lin Feng said, "I have joined a force, but it's a force that the world doesn't know much about. Even I don't know much about it." Tong Yali knew that the Undying Realm was different from the mortal world. If Lin Feng was in the mortal world, he would definitely be a heaven-defying monster. However, after coming to the Undying Realm, he might have become mediocre. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Tong Yali thought that Lin Feng might have joined a small force that others didn't know much about. She was worried that Lin Feng's confidence would be affected, so she tried to persuade him. being a small influential group also has its advantages. In a small influential group, at least there are not as many people as in a big influential group. Besides, as long as you work hard, you will definitely rise. Lin Feng knew that Tong Yali had misunderstood him, but he didn't explain too much. There were many cultivators around, so it was better to keep a low profile. It wouldn't be too late to tell Tong Yali some things when the opportunity arose. Lin Feng asked, "What about you? After coming to the Undying Realm, did you join any forces?" Lin Feng said, "I became Fairy Qingyun's disciple." "Fairy Qingyun? Who is she?" Lin Feng asked curiously. Tong Yali said, "Fairy Qingyun is the youngest disciple of Old Man Tianhe of the 9th Moon Province. Old Man Tianhe is one of the top 10 rogue cultivators of the 9th Moon Province, and his cultivation is at the true immortal realm." "I see." Lin Feng couldn't help but nod. With Tong Yali's cultivation, it was naturally impossible for her to become Old Man Tianhe's disciple. Chapter 48-69. Are you going out alone this time, or are you going with your fellow disciples? Lin Feng asked. "I came with my master, Fairy Qingyun. There are also a few uncle masters and fellow disciples. However, something happened on Dragon Island, so my uncle masters and masters joined the Yin-Yang Alliance. The Yin-Yang Alliance was created by the experts of the Yin-Yang Immortal Sect. It attracted many experts to join," Tong Yali said. Lin Feng had naturally heard of the Yin-Yang Immortal Sect. It was said that this sect was one of the famous ancient immortal sects in the Undying Realm. They were powerful and had a deep foundation. In the secular world, there were also sects like the Yin-Yang Sect and the Yin-Yang Sect. They were said to be branches of the Yin-Yang Immortal Sect in the secular world. "It's better to join a powerful alliance. It's safer that way," Lin Feng said. "Lin Gongzi, you should join the Yin-Yang Alliance too. I can recommend you to join. When the time comes, you and your friend will be able to receive the protection of the Yin-Yang Alliance. Nowadays, the Dragon Island is full of danger. All the major powers are fighting against each other. If a lot of rogue cultivators don't join the major powers, they might end up as targets to be killed and robbed by the major powers. Therefore, it's safer to join these powerful alliances." Tong Yali looked at Lin Feng eagerly. She hoped that Lin Feng would join the Yin-Yang Alliance for two reasons. First, she was worried about his safety. Second, if Lin Feng joined the Yin-Yang Alliance, she would have more time to spend with Lin Feng. However, Tong Yali didn't say the second reason clearly. Lin Feng wanted to refuse. He and Long Outian were free and comfortable outside. After joining those large factions, they would become more restrained. It was better to live freely outside. However, when he saw Tong Yali's eagerness, Lin Feng couldn't bear to refuse Tong Yali's kindness. After all, Lin Feng was a man who knew how to take care of women. Lin Feng nodded and said, "All right, I'll have to trouble you to recommend me," Tong Yali said happily. "We're old friends. You don't have to be so polite with me. If you continue to be so polite, I'll get angry." Lin Feng smiled and said, "I won't be so polite next time. Do you want to try my barbecue?" Tong Yali nodded. Lin Feng cut a small piece of barbecue and gave it to Tong Yali. Tong Yali ate the barbecue in a ladylike manner, and her eyes lit up. This was the first time she ate Lin Feng's barbecue. Therefore, she didn't know that Lin Feng had such a skill. He had originally thought that the barbecued meat would taste ordinary, but after eating it, her fragrance lingered in his mouth. It left a lasting aftertaste. "How's the taste?" asked Lin Feng, smiling. "It's really," she continued. "I want more." Lin Feng smiled and nodded, then cut another piece of barbecue for Tong Yali. At this moment, not far away, a pair of sinister eyes were looking at Lin Feng and Tong Yali, who were chatting and laughing together. The owner of those eyes was none other than the golden-robed man. The golden-robed man was called Jin Zichen. His identity was not simple at all. Jin Zichen's master was called Lu Yu. Lu Kunming, one of the three ancestors of the yin-yang immortal sect, was Lu Yu's ancestor. Therefore, Jin Zichen's position in the yin-yang immortal sect was rather high, and he was a disciple who was heavily nurtured. Jin Zichen had already taken a fancy to Tong Yali when he saw her. First, Tong Yali was extremely beautiful, with a mesmerizing figure and an outstanding temperament. She was simply a goddess. It was rare to see a woman of such quality. Besides her talent, Tong Yali's strength was slightly inferior to the 10 fairies of the Undying Realm. When it came to beauty, it was as if she had never been born. Tong Yali was definitely on par with the 10 fairies of the Undying Realm. Secondly, Tong Yali had the 9 yin body. She was a top-grade cultivation furnace. She was coveted by others. Therefore, Jin Zichen wanted to find an opportunity to take Tong Yali. During this period of time, Jin Zichen used various reasons to get close to Tong Yali. But Tong Yali had always kept a respectful distance from Jin Zichen. Tong Yali was a very sensitive person. In fact, most of the time, women were extremely sensitive. Many people said that women had a sixth sense. This saying was quite correct. It was precisely because women were born with a sixth sense. Therefore, Tong Yali could sense the greed and evil hidden in the depths of Jin Zichen's eyes when he looked at her. This made Tong Yali extremely disgusted. But Tong Yali did not dare to offend Jin Zichen. She did not dare to mention these things to her master, Fairy Qingyan. Keeping a respectful distance was the best choice for Tong Yali now. In Jin Zichen's view, he had to get Tong Yali. But now that Lin Feng had appeared, Jin Zichen found that Lin Feng and Tong Yali were actually so close. Moreover, Tong Yali looked at Lin Feng with a gaze as gentle as water. Obviously, Tong Yali admired Lin Feng. This kind of thing was often the case where the onlooker sees the game more clearly. Lin Feng did not notice that Tong Yali's feelings for him had become extremely strong. But Jin Zichen had already noticed it. Now Jin Zichen was a little worried. Tong Yali's primordial yin was still there. If she stayed with Lin Feng for a long time, maybe the two of them would get together. At that time, she would lose her primordial yin. That would be terrible. Jin Zichen naturally valued the primordial yin of the 9 yin body very much. Therefore, Jin Zichen looked at Lin Feng with envy, jealousy, and hatred. If he could kill Lin Feng, Jin Zichen would cut Lin Feng into pieces now. In fact, if Tong Yali had not come forward, Jin Zichen would have already ordered people to kill Lin Feng and Long Outyin. Senior brother Jin, it's not difficult to get rid of that brat. At this time, a cultivator in blue clothes spoke up. That cultivator was called Sun Jie. In the sect, he had always followed Jin Zichen's lead. Jin Zichen looked at Sun Jie and asked, "What idea do you have?" Sun Jie chuckled and said, "Senior brother, do you remember the valley we passed by earlier? Are you talking about the valley shrouded in black fog?" Jin Zichen frowned slightly. Chapter 4870. Late at night. Everyone was scattered around to rest. Lin Feng was leaning on a big tree. Not long after, a fragrant wind blew over. Tong Yali came to Lin Feng's side. The tree had been growing for God knows how many years. Its branches needed more than a dozen people to wrap their arms around it. Therefore, even if Lin Feng hugged Tong Yali and rolled around on the branches, there was no problem at all. "Haven't you rested yet?" Lin Feng looked at Tong Yali and said. He could smell the fragrance coming from Tong Yali's body. She was indeed a peerless beauty. Even the fragrance coming from her body smelled so good. Tong Yali said, "I can't sleep." "What about you?" "I can't sleep either," Lin Feng said. "Why?" Tong Yali asked. "Because I'm very excited after seeing you," Lin Feng said with a smile. After being teased by Lin Feng, Tong Yali's pretty face suddenly turned slightly red. She said faintly, "I don't know if young master is making me happy? Or is it really so? Of course it's true. Ever since we parted in the secular world, there have been some regrets in my heart," Lin Feng said. "What regrets?" Tong Yali blinked her long eyelashes and asked. Those charming eyes stared at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, I'm worried that I won't be able to see little Lily in the future. If I really can't see little Lily, of course I will feel extremely regretful. After saying that, Lin Feng gently grabbed Tong Yali's jade-like hand. It was a pair of soft and slender jade-like hand. Tong Yali didn't struggle. Under the night sky, their eyes met. Lin Feng was also a handsome and romantic person. Naturally, he could read a lot of information from Tong Yali's eyes. Lin Feng continued, You still have to wake up early tomorrow. Rest. The wind is strong at night, and it's easy to catch a cold. I'll hug you to sleep and won't worry about catching a cold, Lin Feng said and pulled Tong Yali into his arms. As a woman, it seemed like she should refuse at this time. After all, although the two of them were somewhat ambiguous. However, he had only just broken through this layer of window paper. Tong Yali was naturally a little shy. However, there was a voice in her heart that told Tong Yali, Don't refuse. Just let him hold me in his arms like this. Haven't you been looking forward to this day? In reality, all these years, Tong Yali really needed a hug to lean on. When she was in the secular world, in order to avoid marrying Di Jietian, she had no choice but to become his wife. There were many things that Tong Yali had been working hard on in the dark. Lin Feng's appearance was like the descent of a god. After Lin Feng killed Di Jietian, Tong Yali felt that she could rely on him. Lin Feng's departure made Tong Yali feel lost. Perhaps it was because he didn't want to lose this reliance. Therefore, Tong Yali took the risk to come to the Undying Realm. The Undying World was much crueler than the mortal world. After coming to the Undying Realm, Tong Yali, a rogue cultivator with a beautiful appearance but no strength and no background, naturally found it difficult to move forward. In the beginning, he kept having bad ideas about Tong Yali. But every time, Tong Yali was lucky enough to escape. That period of time was really too difficult. Tong Yali was even worried that one day she wouldn't be able to escape the clutches of those cultivators with bad intentions. She wanted to find Lin Feng, but she didn't know where to look for Lin Feng. Later, fortunately, she met Fairy Qingyun and became her disciple. Only then did she get out of the predicament at that time. But even after becoming Fairy Qingyun's disciple, Tong Yali still didn't have it easy. She even felt that there were still many people who had bad ideas about her, including her fellow disciples, martial uncles, and some people among the martial uncles. The gazes that looked at her were all very evil. The Undying Realm was like this. It was very cruel. A place that ate people without spitting out the bones. Therefore, in the Undying Realm, no matter what happened, it was all possible. Therefore, even when she was cultivating under Fairy Qingyun's command. In fact, Tong Yali always had a sense of crisis in her heart. But beside Lin Feng, Tong Yali, on the other hand, was completely relaxed. Tong Yali knew Lin Feng would definitely not harm her. Tong Yali had a kind of blind confidence in Lin Feng. This kind of confidence. It originated from her understanding of Lin Feng and her admiration for Lin Feng. When a woman adored a man, she would trust this man unconditionally. Tong Yali was like this. Tong Yali hugged Lin Feng's waist with both hands. Her pretty face leaned on Lin Feng's chest. The corner of his mouth couldn't help but reveal a trace of a smile. Soon, he fell into a sweet dream. The beauty in his arms. Lin Feng didn't have any romantic feelings in his heart. He knew how difficult it was for a female cultivator like Tong Yali to survive in the Undying Realm. Therefore, Lin Feng's heart was actually very distressed for Tong Yali. Not long after, Lin Feng also fell asleep. Didn't I say that this beauty is Little Feng's old lover? Now it seems that I was right. Early in the morning, Lin Feng had just opened his eyes when he heard Long Outyen's voice. Long Outyen squatted by the side and looked at Lin Feng with a smile. In fact, Tong Yali was also awakened, but after hearing Long Outyen's words, she was shy in her heart. She was too embarrassed to raise her head. Lin Feng punched Long Outyen's face that deserved a beating. Long Outyen screamed. Then he fell from the tree. At this time, Tong Yali got up. Did you sleep well? Lin Feng asked. Tong Yali nodded with a rosy face. You must have tired yourself out yesterday, right? Tong Yali asked. Of course not. Hugging such a peerless beauty to sleep is simply enjoyable, Lin Feng said with a smile. Tong Yali said. I see that everyone is starting to gather. Let's go down. Lin Feng nodded. He jumped down from the tree with Tong Yali. Long Outyen looked at Lin Feng and Tong Yali ambiguously. Tong Yali was naturally very embarrassed. Therefore, she quickly walked away. Little Feng, you're still the best. Everywhere you go, there are goddess-like beauties chasing after you, Long Outyen said with a naughty smile. Then he said, I'm so envious, Lin Feng said. Sometimes, being handsome is also a sin. Lin Feng and Long Outyen walked towards the group of Yin-Yang Alliance cultivators. Jin Zichen looked at Lin Feng with a cold look in his eyes. However, he quickly withdrew his gaze. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. Jin Zichen's gaze naturally could not escape Lin Feng's senses. However, Lin Feng did not say anything. Jin Zichen said, Since everyone is here, I'll talk about today's mission. Some time ago, I found an extremely mysterious valley. It's very likely that there are great fortuitous encounters in the valley. Thus, I plan to bring everyone to explore the valley today. Chapter 48-71. After hearing Jin Zichen's words, the cultivators couldn't help but get excited. They had come to Dragon Island to search for opportunities. Now that Jin Zichen was going to take them to search for opportunities, they were naturally very happy. Senior Brother Jin's character is really admirable. Senior Brother Jin could have gone to search for such an opportunity by himself, but he brought us along. This means that he's treating us as his own people. In the future, I will definitely follow Senior Brother Jin's lead in the sect. Haha, Brother Jin is a righteous person. If you need anything in the future, just say the word. As long as I, Wang Hai, can do it, I will definitely do it. Many cultivators whispered in each other's ears. Among these cultivators, there were cultivators from the Yin-Yang Immortal sect as well as cultivators from other factions. Jin Zichen's decision to take everyone to explore the valley and search for opportunities greatly improved everyone's impression of Jin Zichen. Lin Feng's lips curled into a cold smile. This Jin Zichen was clearly putting on an act here. Alright, then let's set off now, Jin Zichen said. Then, he led the way in front. Long Outyen whispered, Why do I feel like this guy looked at you with a meaningful gaze just now? This guy definitely doesn't have good intentions. You have to be careful later. Lin Feng nodded. There was a saying, Don't be afraid of a thief stealing, but be afraid of a thief remembering. Therefore, it was necessary to guard against Jin Zichen. Of course, Lin Feng was skilled and daring. In addition, he had Long Outyen by his side. If there was anything to worry about, there was really nothing to worry about. The group moved very quickly. The next day, they arrived at the outer region of the valley. There were many skeletons scattered in the surrounding forest. There were even many large skeletons. After seeing those skeletons, many people couldn't help but frown. Because among those skeletons, there were the skeletons of prehistoric dragons. Could there be some terrifying, ferocious beast here? Thinking of this, many people couldn't help but tremble slightly. Someone said, This place is probably very dangerous. Shouldn't we plan carefully before going in to explore? If we go in rashly, I'm afraid it will be extremely dangerous. At that moment, Sun Jia said, What are you afraid of? There are so many of us. Even if there's a prehistoric dragon, we can kill it. Besides, Senior Brother Jin is an Earth Immortal. He's very strong. With him here, we have nothing to fear. After hearing Sun Jia's words, the expressions of the people who were originally worried also became much better. Everyone arrived at the entrance of the valley and looked into the valley. The interior of the valley was shrouded in black fog, and the Yin-Chi was dense. Was clearly a place where danger lurked on every side. Sun Jia rolled his eyes and said, Senior Brother Jin, It's too obvious if we all go in together. How about this? Let's send 2 people to scout the area first. What do you think? Scouting was an extremely dangerous task. Naturally, no one wanted to do it. Hence, after hearing Sun Jia's words, many people frowned slightly. Let's do as you say. Out. This was an arduous and thankless task. If they were careless, they could die in there. Didn't junior sister Tong say that she wanted to recommend 2 of her friends to join our Yin-Yang alliance? If junior sister Tong's 2 friends can scout ahead, the higher-ups will have a better impression of them during the inspection. If that's the case, they will have a much higher chance of joining the Yin-Yang alliance. I think we should let junior sister Tong's 2 friends scout ahead. What do you think, senior brother Jean and the others? Tong Yali's expression changed slightly. She wanted to say something, but Lin Feng stopped her. Tong Yali naturally didn't want Lin Feng to explore the valley. It was too dangerous. Tong Yali was very worried that Lin Feng would die in there. Lin Feng didn't let her say anything, so Tong Yali had no choice but to keep quiet. However, she used her eyes to tell Lin Feng not to agree no matter what. When the time came, she would ask her master, Fairy Qingyun, for help. Lin Feng and Long Outyen could then join the Yin-Yang alliance. We have no objections. The other cultivators nodded in agreement. Lin Feng had nothing to do with them, so they naturally had no objections. So what if Lin Feng and Long Outyen died in the battle? What did it have to do with them? Jin Zichen looked at Lin Feng with a smile and said, Brothers, what are your plans? Of course, if you're afraid, we won't force the 2 of you. What's there to be afraid of? Why would we be afraid? Long Outyen curled his lips and said. He looked very confident. Lin Feng shrugged and said, The word afraid doesn't exist in my life. Tong Yali looked at Lin Feng worriedly. Lin Feng patted her hand, telling her not to worry. However, if she said she wasn't worried, that would be impossible. Tong Yali only hoped that everything would go smoothly. When Jin Zichen saw Lin Feng and Tong Yali's intimate actions, his eyes turned gloomy. Killing intent flashed in his eyes. However, he quickly retracted the killing intent in his eyes. Instead, he said with a smile, You 2 brothers are really skilled and bold. Then we'll wait for your good news outside. Lin Feng and Long Outyen nodded. Then, the 2 of them walked into the valley. Jin Zichen couldn't help but reveal a sinister smirk. In Jin Zichen's opinion, Lin Feng and Long Outyen would definitely die in there. Soon, Lin Feng and Long Outyen disappeared from their sight. There were many restrictions in the valley, and there were also many corpses. However, these restrictions could not hurt Lin Feng and Long Outyen. Long Outyen said, I know! Jin Zichen is targeting us because he has his eyes on Tong Yali, right? As the saying goes, beautiful women are dangerous. That's why Jin Zichen wants to get rid of us. Lin Feng nodded and said, That's the reason. I wonder what dangers there are in there. Long Outyen carefully observed his surroundings. They walked deeper into the valley. Before long, Lin Feng and Long Outyen felt a cold aura enveloping their bodies. It seemed to have sensed something. The 2 of them looked up and saw a gigantic head floating above them. Chapter 4872. So it's a python demon. Long Outyen couldn't help but mutter after seeing the creature's appearance. Originally, he was more worried that there would be some particularly terrifying existence here, but after seeing this python demon, Long Outyen was relieved. Although this python demon was powerful, it seemed to only have the strength of a quasi-immortal. It couldn't compete with Lin Feng and him at all. At this moment, the python demon opened its bloody mouth and bit towards Lin Feng and Long Outyen. How dare you! Lin Feng's cold voice suddenly sounded, and then a powerful aura suppressed the python demon. The python demon that originally opened its mouth to swallow Lin Feng and Long Outyen felt Lin Feng's aura. It hurriedly shut its bloody mouth. Then, it lowered its huge head. Python demon! It didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Lin Feng. Go out and kill the cultivator in golden clothes! I can spare your life, Lin Feng said. The python demon quickly nodded. Then, its huge body quickly swam outside. Lin Feng's eyes revealed a cold expression. He had always been a decisive person. If Lin Feng didn't bully others, others would be grateful. How could Lin Feng be bullied by others? Since Jin Zichen was courting death, Lin Feng naturally wouldn't let him go. At this moment, Tong Yali was still anxiously waiting for Lin Feng's news. Python! A huge python! At this moment, someone pointed into the valley and screamed in horror. The python demon was slithering out at high speed. The others also saw the python demon. After sensing the python demon's aura, their faces changed drastically. The python demon's aura was too terrifying. Before, when Jin Zichen was exploring the valley, he quickly left after sensing the dangerous aura, so he didn't know what kind of creature was in the valley. Now that he saw the python demon, he couldn't help but be shocked. How could Jin Zichen dare to stay? He turned around and fled. Hurry up and run! The rest of the people also screamed in horror and fled into the distance. Where's Lin Feng? Where's Lin Feng? Tong Yali couldn't help but feel extremely anxious. She directly ran into the valley. The python demon looked coldly at Tong Yali. However, when it received Lin Feng's telepathic message, it was shocked. Fortunately, it did not attack this woman, or it would be dangerous. Then, the python demon quickly rushed out. Lin Feng, don't die! Don't die! I finally found you, don't leave me! Tong Yali sounded like she was about to cry. Long Out Yen muttered, Damn, is this woman stupid? She actually ran in here without caring about the danger. Looks like it's true love. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel slightly moved. He quickly flew out. After seeing Lin Feng appear, Tong Yali immediately became incomparably excited. She originally thought that Lin Feng was already dead. Now that she saw Lin Feng, she was so happy that she felt like she was about to die. Lin Feng hugged Tong Yali and said, Don't worry, I'm fine. Tong Yali just wanted to hug Lin Feng properly. She wanted to feel Lin Feng's body temperature and feel Lin Feng's breath. Tong Yali didn't know how Lin Feng and Long Ao Tian had managed to avoid the python, but she had forgotten about it. As long as Lin Feng survived, it was fine. At this moment, the python demon had already rushed out of the valley and quickly chased after a group of cultivators who were escaping. Let's split up and run, a cultivator said. Then, the cultivators scattered and fled in all directions. The python demon locked onto the escaping Jin Zichen. It quickly chased after Jin Zichen. Why are you chasing me? Go after them! Jin Zichen shouted gloomily. Seeing that the python demon was getting closer and closer to him, Jin Zichen directly rushed into the sky. He wanted to fly high into the sky to avoid the python demon's attack. Because the python demon couldn't fly, hiding in the sky was indeed a good way to avoid the python demon's attack. But Jin Zichen neglected an extremely important thing. If he flew in the air, he would almost become a target for the python demon's attack. No matter what, this python demon's cultivation was at the quasi-true immortal level. Its attack was very terrifying. When Jin Zichen rushed into the sky, the python demon let out a series of indistinct sounds. The python demon seemed to be chanting an incantation. After cultivating to the quasi-true immortal level, the python demon had already gained intelligence and new divine abilities. So, the python demon's attack was very terrifying. When the python demon's incantation was finished, Jin Zichen, who was rushing into the sky, was instantly frozen. This was the python demon's best move. It was called Eternal Freeze. Once it was used, it could freeze the opponent. After Jin Zichen was frozen by the python demon, his body quickly fell down. The python demon quickly rushed over and swallowed Jin Zichen, who fell down in one bite. When the rest of the people saw this scene, they were almost scared out of their wits. However, the python demon didn't chase after those cultivators. Instead, it stopped in place. The python demon turned its head and looked in the direction of the valley. When it saw Lin Feng walk out of the valley, he waved at it. The python demon didn't stay any longer. It quickly swam into the distance and disappeared from everyone's sight in the blink of an eye. Hey, look, the python is leaving! We're out of trouble! After seeing the python demon leave, many people couldn't help but smile. The python demon finally left. In this way, the others were safe. Look, those two guys didn't die! Someone pointed in the direction of the valley. Lin Feng, Long Outyen, and Tong Yali stood outside the valley. This made everyone feel incredulous. Originally, everyone thought that Lin Feng and Long Outyen had been eaten by the python. But who would have thought that the two of them were fine? Instead, Jin Zichen was eaten by the python. A group of cultivators flew over. Someone looked at Lin Feng and asked, "Why are the two of you fine? Didn't the python attack you?" Lin Feng said, "After we saw the python, we hid. The python didn't see us. Damn, we're actually that lucky?" Someone immediately muttered, "Senior brother Jin was eaten by the python. How are we going to explain this to Elder Luyu when we return?" Sun Jie said with a long face. Long Outyen curled his lips and said, "We'll explain it however we want. Who told that guy surnamed Jin to be so unlucky? There aren't any opportunities inside. Let's hurry up and leave before the python returns. If that happens, we won't be able to leave even if we want to." Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. "All right, let's hurry up and leave." A cultivator was right. The group didn't dare to stay any longer and quickly left the place. Chapter 48-73. The Yin-Yang Alliance's encampment was located in a mountain range. Among the many alliances, the Yin-Yang Alliance wasn't the strongest, but it definitely wasn't weak either because it had a true immortal expert overseeing it. The true immortal overseeing the Yin-Yang Alliance was called Wu Daoxian. He was one of the three patriarchs of the Yin-Yang immortal sect. It was said that he had the Tao God immortal body, an extremely powerful physique. He was born with a very close and special connection with the great Tao. Therefore, this physique was a cultivation saint physique. Cultivators with this physique. They were usually cultivation geniuses with powerful cultivation bases. Wu Daoxian was one of them. He had displayed astonishing talent when he was young. As he grew older, his cultivation base continued to increase until he finally broke through to the true immortal realm. Apart from Wu Daoxian, there were also some quasi-true immortals and sky immortals. For example, Jin Zichen's master, Lu Yu, was a sky immortal expert. Another example was Tong Yali's master, Fairy Qingyun, who was also a sky immortal expert. Among Tong Yali's three uncle masters, one was a quasi-true immortal while the other two were sky immortals. After arriving at the Yin-Yang Alliance's encampment, Tong Yali brought Lin Feng and Long Outyen to see her master, Fairy Qingyun. Sun Jie and the others went to see Lu Yu. They reported to Lu Yu that Jin Zichen had been eaten by the python. Lin Feng met Tong Yali's master, Fairy Qingyun. Fairy Qingyun looked like a young woman in her 30s. Her figure was alluring and her face was also extremely beautiful. Women who could be called fairies were naturally peerless beauties recognized by the world. Of course, it was hard to say for self-proclaimed fairies. Some of the self-proclaimed fairies were indeed very beautiful. However, some were blindly confident. But clearly, Fairy Qingyun. She was a woman as beautiful as a fairy. When she was young, she was also one of the top 10 beauties of the 9th Moon Prefecture. Even now, Fairy Qingyun was still very young. She had cultivated for about 5 million years. In terms of the age of mortals, she was about 30 years old. Note, due to the abundance of spiritual energy in the world of cultivators, even mortals have a lifespan of 200 to 300 years. Some long-lived mortals can even live up to 400 years. Tong Yali introduced Lin Feng and Long Outyen to Fairy Qingyun. Lin Feng and Long Outyen cupped their fists towards Fairy Qingyun. Then Tong Yali mentioned that she wanted to recommend Lin Feng and Lin Jiufeng to join the Yin-Yang Alliance. This request wasn't particularly difficult for Fairy Qingyun. Fairy Qingyun naturally didn't refuse. She nodded in agreement. Next, Fairy Qingyun had Tong Yali bring Lin Feng and Long Outyen away to rest. The resting places were all caves opened up by cultivators. As a temporary resting place, everyone's resting place had restrictions placed on it. Without the permission of others, they naturally couldn't trespass into other people's resting places. Lin Feng and Long Outyen opened up a temporary cultivation cave right next to Tong Yali's cave. Long Outyen went inside to rest. Lin Feng followed Tong Yali and entered the cave residence where she was resting. Meanwhile, after waiting anxiously for over 2 hours, Sun Jia finally saw Lu Yu. Such an important figure naturally wasn't someone an ordinary disciple like Sun Jia could meet. "Martial nephew Sun, what business do you have with me?" When Lu Yu arrived outside, he didn't invite Sun Jia inside. Instead, he got straight to the point. Sun Jia hurriedly said, "Martial uncle, something big happened. Senior brother Jean was eaten by a python." "What? Zichen was eaten by a python?" When he heard that, Lu Yu's expression changed drastically. Jean Zichen was Lu Yu's favorite disciple. When he heard that Jean Zichen had been eaten by a python, Lu Yu's expression turned exceedingly unsightly. However, he wasn't sad at all. Existences at his level were used to seeing life and death. Many people had long since left their grief behind. Of course. Although Lu Yu wasn't sad about Jean Zichen's death, he still felt it was a pity. Jean Zichen was vicious and merciless, and he was exceptionally talented. Only someone like that could accomplish great things. For that reason, Lu Yu had thought highly of Jean Zichen, but now he'd been eaten by a python. So what if he thought highly of Jean Zichen? "That's right," said Sun Jia cautiously. "Many of us saw it. That python was extremely terrifying. After swallowing senior brother Jean Zichen, it quickly left." Lu Yu said in a low voice, "Tell me the whole story. Don't leave out anything." And so, Sun Jia started to recount how he met Lin Feng and Long Outyen. Then, he talked about how they tried to scheme against Lin Feng and Long Outyen. Lin Feng and Long Outyen entered the valley as well. But in the end, Jean Zichen died. Lin Feng and Long Outyen, who'd been scouting the valley, returned unscathed. "So you're saying that Zichen died because he wanted to scheme against Tong Yali's lover? But in the end, he suffered the consequences of his own actions?" Lu Yu asked gloomily. "That's right, martial uncle," replied Sun Jia. In truth, he was somewhat afraid. After all, he was the one who'd suggested it. However, he hadn't told Lu Yu that he was the one who'd suggested it. He was worried that if he did, Lu Yu would take his anger out on him. He understood his martial uncle Lu Yu quite well. He was vicious and merciless, vengeful for the smallest grievance. Jean Zichen had been by Lu Yu's side since he was young. His personality was very similar to Lu Yu's. There was a saying, "One is marked by the company one keeps." The way Sun Jia saw it, Jean Zichen's personality had been influenced by Lu Yu's. "Zichen's dead, but that brat's actually living such a carefree life. What's more, he even got a beauty back. How could there be such a good thing in this world?" Lu Yu's eyes instantly flashed with dense, murderous intent. Sun Jia didn't dare interrupt. He was afraid that if he angered Lu Yu, he'd be dragged into it as well. "That brat wants to join our yin-yang alliance?" asked Lu Yu. "That's right. I'm guessing that Tong Yali's master, Fairy Qingyun, will help recommend him. With Fairy Qingyun's help, it shouldn't be difficult for them to join us," said Sun Jia. "After they join the yin-yang alliance, I have 100 ways to play them to death. Those two must die. I'm going to bury them with Zichen." Lu Yu's eyes flashed with dense, murderous intent. He wanted to kill Lin Feng and Long Outyen. That was especially true of Lin Feng. Jean Zichen wanted to kill Lin Feng, which was why he'd plotted against Lin Feng. As for Long Outyen, he'd merely been dragged into the mess. Chapter 4874. Lin Feng didn't know what Lu Yu and Sun Jia talked about. Lu Yu wanted to kill him. Lin Feng didn't know either. Even if Lin Feng knew, he wouldn't care. After all, Lu Yu was just a heavenly immortal. Lu Yu was nothing in front of him. At this moment, Lin Feng was resting in Tong Yali's East Mansion. Tong Yali knew how to enjoy life. She carried a soft bed with her everywhere. After opening up the cave, she took out the soft bed and placed it in the cave. Lin Feng lay on the soft bed with his head resting on Tong Yali's thigh. Tong Yali stretched out her hand and massaged Lin Feng. How enjoyable! Little Lily! I won't be leaving tonight. I'll stay here with you. What do you think? Lin Feng said to Tong Yali with a smile. Tong Yali's pretty face instantly turned red. She stammered, "Aren't we developing too fast?" said Lin Feng. "I just want to sleep with you in my arms, that's all." "What are you thinking?" Tong Yali could tell that Lin Feng was teasing her. She said angrily, "Lin Feng, you batty! You only know how to bully me." "Ha ha ha, how could I bear to bully you? I'm just teasing you," Lin Feng said with a smile. Tong Yali wasn't really angry. When she was with outsiders, she always had a cold expression, as if she didn't want anyone to get close to her. But when she was with Lin Feng, she was pure and gentle. So, a woman like Tong Yali was really a good woman. She treated her lover well. She was extremely loyal. The next day, Fairy Qingyun brought Lin Feng and Long Outyan to investigate. Lin Feng met some of the Yin-Yang Alliance's higher-ups, but he didn't see Wu Daoxian. They asked about Lin Feng and Long Outyan's basic situation. Lin Feng and Tong Yali had already decided on what to say. Lin Feng called himself Ji. Long Outyan was still his real name. The two of them were Tong Yali's good friends in the secular world. With Fairy Qingyun's recommendation, the others naturally wouldn't make things difficult for Lin Feng and Long Outyan. Therefore, the two of them easily passed the inspection. "Young man, work hard. The future is yours." Lu Yu smiled and patted Lin Feng's shoulder. Then, he looked at Lin Feng meaningfully. The next period of time was rather peaceful. Lin Feng and Long Outyan would occasionally go out with the patrol team to patrol. When there was nothing to do, Lin Feng would stay with Tong Yali. This period of time was also a rare time to relax. Lin Feng was rarely as relaxed as he was now. Now that he had time to relax, it was a good experience. The prehistoric dragon race and Dragon Island's living beings did not come out to attack the various alliances. I don't know why those entities didn't do so. It seemed to be a period of truce. The various alliances were also in a relatively peaceful period. Although there were constant small conflicts, there weren't any major conflicts. Time passed day by day. Until this day, a shocking piece of news came out. It was said, in a mountain range, the rumored immortal essence fruit appeared. This was an extremely rare heavenly treasure that could greatly increase a cultivator's cultivation base. This natural treasure that could increase one's cultivation had always made people go crazy. Immortal essence fruit. Naturally, it was the same. Therefore, when the news of the immortal essence fruit spread, it attracted the attention of many people. Even those true immortal experts were attracted by the immortal essence fruit. When I want to sleep, someone immediately sends a pillow to me. I must have the immortal essence fruit. I want to break through to the Tao immortal realm. After hearing the news of the immortal essence fruit, Long Outyan was extremely excited. In the past, Long Outyan's cultivation was high. He was now recultivating. There were two major characteristics of recultivating. First, the cultivation progress was very fast. Second, there were very few obstacles when breaking through. If there was a sufficient supply of natural treasures and immortal stones, recultivating cultivators could continuously increase their cultivation until their cultivation reached the peak of the past. At this time, the cultivation speed would slow down. The reason why the cultivation speed slowed down was that they needed to comprehend the Tao if they wanted to break through to a higher level. Only by comprehending the Tao could they break through to a higher level. Long Outyan needed the immortal essence fruit. Lin Feng also needed the immortal essence fruit. Lin Feng wanted to increase his cultivation as soon as possible. Therefore, the immortal essence fruit was also very important to him. The cultivators of the Yin-Yang Alliance left one after another, including Wu Daoxian from the Yin-Yang Alliance who came out of seclusion. Wu Daoxian left with a group of people, obviously for this opportunity. Tong Yali followed her master. Before leaving, she told Lin Feng that she would try her best to get the immortal essence fruit. If she could get it, she would bring it back for Lin Feng to cultivate. Long Aotian said, "This girl is really not bad. She is thinking of you wholeheartedly." Lin Feng nodded. Then, he left with Long Aotian. They were the ordinary members of the Yin-Yang Alliance who were, not qualified, to leave with Wu Daoxian. Of course, Lin Feng was not interested in going with Wu Daoxian and the others. The mountain range where the immortal essence fruit was located in the central area. A large number of prehistoric dragon tribe and dragon island creatures were active there. Therefore, when a large number of cultivators came, naturally, there would be a big battle. However, those prehistoric dragon tribe and dragon island creatures could not stop those cultivators. Many cultivators came to the outer area of the mountain range. From afar, they could see an ancient tree rooted in the void with dozens of fruits floating on it. Those fruits. They should be the immortal essence fruit. Many dragon kings had arrived. There were also some beast kings there. There was a look of indifference on their faces as they regarded the many cultivators surging in from the outside. Experts among the foreign cultivators also appeared one after another. Therefore, the Dragon King and Beast King level existences didn't attack these foreign cultivators. They also needed to gather their strength now. After the restriction outside the mountain range disappeared, they went to fight for the immortal essence fruit. There are so many immortal essence fruits. I am almost drooling, Long Aotian said. Hee, good treasures. Really good treasures. Lin Feng could not help but be very excited. There were so many experts. There were only about 40 to 50 immortal essence fruits. Obviously, it was not enough. Many people would not be able to get the immortal essence fruit. Therefore, one could imagine that there would be a fierce battle. 2 days later, the fragrance of the immortal essence fruit gradually spread out. The power of the restriction was also dissipating quickly. It lasted for about 2 hours. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.